Well, this is quite the conundrum we find ourselves in. The intro just doesn't. There it goes. We did it. Woo! Hi, man.
Hi, guys.
I think my streaming PC's on its last legs. It just didn't want to play that video. OBS refused to run that, the thing there at the end. Anyways, we'll do it live. That's all that matters. Hi, welcome to Drop Frames. It's Sunday. It's time for another show. We're doing our Spoilercast. We got a little Game Awards stuff, some news, some games. We'll get to all that. Maybe a shorter show today. This guy's a little sick. He's a little under the weather.
Yeah, I didn't even know if I was gonna make it here today. I'm not. Those that weren't around this morning, I also called my stream about 3 hours shorter than normal, but not doing great last couple days.
Yeah. Well, I hope everything works out. I hope. Have you pinpointed the ailment at least, or are you just?
Nope.
Oof.
Had a little bit of a fever yesterday. Been out of the bathroom all day. Just nothing really staying down.
All right, well, I'm
Kid cred.
I'm shacking up with Zeke on this. I don't want to.
That's smart.
I don't want to get sick.
That's
Come
smart.
on over to No Kid Land where we don't get sick because of our children.
Yeah. Might be the case.
I'm not. That face said it all, dude. You don't need to say another word. It's all good.
Ghost face, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm in my 40s now, so like I know a lot of my friends have kids.
Yeah.
And like they'll come up to me. They're like, I was never sick before. I'm like sick every day now.
Yeah.
Like, do you think it's your kids? Probably. God, you bring home all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. That's how it goes. It happens. It happens. Anywho, hope you start feeling better over the next couple of days. And, we'll be here still. We'll still be doing all the stuff. Let's move on.
And if you got to have a code brown, we got you. Don't worry.
If you got to just get up and leave, just get up and leave. We won't say anything. We won't comment on it. If it happens, it happens. We need to go through our award categories for the Game of the Year show. Barry is currently in the process of redoing the entire community aspect of the Game of the Year things that we do around here on Drop Frames. And so one of those falls to us in terms of deciding all the categories. So I have last year's pulled up, and we'll just go through it, see if there's anything we want to add or change. And if not, it'll just be the exact same.
Didn't we have like a fake sponsored one?
I think so. Yes.
The community voice brought to you by Gillette. Like that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it was the second biggest industry fail presented by Activision Blizzard.
That's right. No, that's right. Because we know the first.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember now.
Yeah. So that one might that one might go. Like, what was the biggest industry fail of the year? I don't even know if there was one on that level. Is there anyone that would just be a shoo-in?
It's kind of like the ongoing thing with oh God, now I'm gonna forget his name. The musician for Doom, Mick Gordon.
Oh, Mick Gordon?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's on the same level. I think that could be something that would be the biggest industry fail of the year, though.
Diablo Immortal. I mean, that's certainly.
I think all of these are potentially winners of that.
Yeah.
in their own right. I don't know if it needs to be a sponsored by.
The Bayonet
Now,
of
okay.
VA. Oh,
That there's a lot. Yeah.
People talk about the FTC stuff, and I don't know if we've ever talked about it on this show. Like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's
really.
news for this week, so we'll go over it after this. But I think all of those could be potentials. I don't think they outright sponsor the category. So I think we just do biggest industry fail, and that's it. I think that's the category.
Okay.
What else do we have? We've got top 3 games streamed. So
Oh,
not
you know what?
what?
Xantos in my chat had a good point. You know, instead of focusing like just on the negative, how about biggest win, like biggest industry win? And I'm not talking about like game sales. I'm talking about like it's kind of like the frown upside down, or like biggest awesome surprise thing that happened that an industry did.
We have biggest surprise already, but that's more in terms of like games. So that you're saying to have a positive. We could completely remove biggest industry fail and turn it to most positive success. I don't know. Still workshopping the name of the category.
Is that a foreign word coming out of your mouth? JP? Positive. I'm not getting this word. I don't understand it.
Look, in terms of the industry, like that stuff's not celebrated.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's it's on the internet, negativity is king. That's the state that we currently reside in.
Yeah.
And I would honestly like, what would be a potential winner for that category?
I mean, I'd have to like.
It's harder to think of a winner for that category than it is to choose a game of the year.
That's true.
in some ways, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, it's like yeah, like accessibility features in a game that weren't there before that someone did some innovation with. Fucking like, I don't know, like I have to look at like headlines and stuff, but I'm thinking of something like gamer goes to White House, and meets president. Something like that. In that kind of idea.
Trying to think if there's a way that we could I enjoy the sentiment of not having it just be a negative.
Flute guy.
What?
Flute guy would be a major win.
Not really industry though, but yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, chat's saying a lot of like unionization stuff, game awards, right on Game Pass is more like it's like a financial win rather than like a sentimental win, like a
yeah. A feel good.
Yeah. Feel good
What if it was
thing
like
of the
feel
year.
good story of the year. Yeah.
Feel good story of the year.
Yeah.
We could.
God damn, I'd have to do research on that shit.
Yeah. I mean, we really
I'll
do.
probably have to take a time out of like the first part of my stream and be like, all right, guys, we got to have something for this. So give me the stories. Give me some links.
Yeah. I mean,
But I think that'd be good. It'd be good to have a positive, to, I don't think we should do away with the biggest lose.
Biggest fail.
I think that's biggest fail. I think that's always fun. But just the flip side of the coin, I think it'd be fun to, showcase something nice that happened.
Sure. Okay. So what are we calling it there? What
I like feel good.
Feel good award? The feel good award? What made you feel good this year?
The industry
There
feel
you go.
good award.
Yeah.
The feel good award. All right.
I like it. It's sappy and it's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Feel good award brought to you by Dr. Feelgood. That's the name of it.
Brought to you by Motley Crue.
Yeah. We can't afford that. We're not. The
Feel Good Award brought to you by Head On. Apply directly to the forehead.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. I think we got all. I think I was jotting down all the categories there, so I don't have to look at this expansive Excel sheet. So Feel Good Award we'll add. Biggest industry fail. Is that what we want to call it? What was the actual thing? It's called
Biggest industry feel bad.
The Feel Bad Award? Do you want to have the Feel Good Award and the Feel Bad Award?
I think that would be hilarious.
I kind of like it.
Just
I'm doing it. Feel Bad Award.
Yeah, okay.
I like it. Let's do that. Makes it easy. you can also look at those and feel like, okay, yeah, I understand that. I get those awards. Great. By the way, I thought that this was kind of interesting. Last year, most anticipated game of the year, both Zeke and I voted God of War Ragnarok. Cohh, do you remember what your vote was?
No.
Battlefield 2042.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's a sad story.
That's your big feel bad award right there.
That's my feel bad award. Right
Yeah.
there.
I didn't.
Womp womp.
Yeah. I thought it was me that voted for it, but yeah, it was
No.
rough.
I was a huge 2142 fan.
Yeah.
Favorite Battlefield by far.
Yeah. It's kind of weird
sucks.
that I can't believe that game came out this year. That's it. I haven't looked at games that have come out, and that one's a shocker. It feels like that was 10 years ago, but that was this year. All
I
right.
feel like it was longer.
Yeah. Let's going through the different categories. We got favorite music, favorite sound design, favorite character, favorite voice acting, favorite moment, favorite writing, favorite DLC/expansion, favorite multiplayer, redemption of the year, most anticipated game of 2023, biggest surprise, games we wish we played, biggest disappointment, and did I say top 3 games streamed? I think I mentioned that at the very beginning. So those are our categories. Then feel bad award, feel good award. Anything
I always struggle with the DLC expansion one, like unless there's a big one. Like I usually like don't play a lot of those, so I don't think I'd have one in that category.
We can take, like, I don't know what I would vote for there as well. I don't know if Cohh feels strongly, but we could take that category out. I don't even know like what it would. I don't even know who could be up for running in that this year. Like what expansions or DLC?
It'd be tough for this year.
Yeah.
I haven't played any expansions or DLC that I can think of.
Would we want to change that to favorite ongoing game? Favorite live game? Favorite live service? Like
Sure. That'd be fine. Yeah.
Do y'all play enough quote unquote live service games for there to be something in there?
I played some Magic this year. I played some Marvel Snap. Marvel Snap would be an ongoing, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean it's got seasons to it. So,
sure.
Cohh, you want to change it to favorite ongoing?
Sure.
Okay.
That works fine.
I think that makes sense. What about biggest disappointment and feel bad award? Are those separate enough to be able to be 2 awards in their own right?
Well, the disappointment one is a specific game, right. And feel bad award is more the gaming industry as a whole.
Right.
Makes sense.
Maybe you just need to make that distinction in the title, like biggest disappointment, most disappointing game. Let's just call it what it is. Let's be just blunt about it.
Okay. Most disappointing game. Got it.
I have a couple for that.
Sure. Redemption of the year. Most anticipated game of 2023 is fine. Biggest surprise. I think that stands on its own.
So 2042 was.
Yeah, there was an asterisk.
Was it last year?
There was an asterisk next to your thing for most anticipated game. So I wonder
when did it come out?
I wonder what that meant.
When did 2042 come out? I thought that was end of last year.
It might have been.
Then how could it have been?
I don't know. That's what I'm curious about now too. 2042 came out in 2021 on November 12th. So it was out.
So it would have already been out.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I
played it on release and was very quickly underwhelmed.
Huh. I don't know what that means in this Excel sheet. I'll have to ask.
Barry didn't update your slide, I think, if I remember correctly. Your game was something different.
Oh. Huh.
I don't remember that, but I would absolutely believe that.
Because that could have been your 2020 most anticipated game.
Maybe.
Because then it says, when I hover over it, it says copy the biggest fail and accident. So that would be what you just said, where It was copied in the actual graphics. And then it said you gave a top 5: Dying Light 2, Stalker 2, Elden Ring, Starfield, and Sifu. And those all came out this year. I guess you gave a top 5.
I guess I gave a top 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Broke the rules.
And God of War didn't even make the top 5.
God of War wasn't in the top 5.
Wow.
According to this spreadsheet. We could check the tape. Go check the VOD.
Like the highlight reel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, are those categories good? Do I need to read them one more time?
Good.
I will say this: it's a lot.
The redemption one.
Redemption of the year.
With the redemption one, yeah.
Last year, redemption of the year. Oh God, my redemption of the year was Halo Infinite. Okay. Cohh's was Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Zeke's was Riot Settles Discrimination Class Action.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We could strike that. Because I think that kind of comes into the feel good award, kind of takes that over in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can strike that one and leave the feel good, feel bad. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I'm all right taking that. And then that would put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 15 awards plus a top 10. So if you guys want to strike anything else, we can, but 15's a pretty number.
15's a pretty good
number. Let me sit with the list and I'll get back to you.
Okay. All right. I'll put it in Slack.
Okay, sounds good.
The second question I will ask about all of this: do we want to keep it top 10, or do we want to go top 5? Just for like brevity's sake
I think that I've always had issues doing top 10.
Like 5 to 10's rough, right?
No. Like I always have more than 10.
Oh, you have a hard time
I've
fitting
never
all.
had
Okay.
less than 10. So
got it.
I think top 5 is honestly a little small.
Too restrictive.
I think all of us have like top 10 and then honorable mentions, and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like top 5 is a bit too restrictive. We can go through it quickly. Like if we want to do like just name the
we were faster last year because I think last year we did like 10 through 4 for everyone and left the top 3 to be revealed one at a time. I think is how we did that.
Yeah, I think that's a good format.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, then I will put this into Slack. We can think about it for a couple days, and then we'll toss it over to Barry. Cool. Game of the Year show should be happening on the 1st of January this year. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 3 weeks from now. Jesus, we're 2 weeks from Christmas. That's also mind-boggling. Have you guys finished your shopping yet? I haven't even started.
Mostly. I had to do it early.
Yeah.
So mostly. Yeah.
I don't have a lot of people to get presents for.
Yeah.
So I just kind of go along and like this is something I wanted to bring up. Like, I don't know what it is, but Twitter is listening to me because like I have bought at least half a dozen things from my phone, like scrolling past Twitter ads. I'm like,
yeah,
fuck, that'd be a great present. Bye. Damn it, that one too. Shit, they're just batting out of the park this year.
They're feeding you all the goods. Yeah.
Well, the only place I get ads anymore is on my phone, is on Twitter.
Oh,
like I don't get ads on Twitch because of Turbo.
Else. Yeah.
I don't get ads on the streaming services like Netflix and stuff.
If you pay for the like $8 thing on Twitter, does it still serve you ads? Does that bypass ads?
So.
I think they took that down. You're talking about Twitter Blue.
Yeah, can you still pay for anything on there?
It's coming back up soon at $11. So
okay.
I don't know if it bypasses ads though.
All right.
Half the ads, less ads. There
great. Okay. Anyways, enough about Twitter. Let's just move past that fucking landmine. Zeke, you wanted to know about the FTC stuff.
Yeah,
we can dive into that. So this past week, did this all go down on Friday? No, this went down on Thursday, the day of the Game Awards. That's right. The FTC filed a legal challenge to try and block Microsoft's plan to buy Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. They put out a press release for that. And essentially, the FTC, this is what they do. They sue to block. That is kind of the formal proceedings that occur. So, FTC,
For those of us
FTC
who don't know,
saying no.
FTC stands for
Federal Trade Commission, I believe.
Okay, I was right.
I thought it was
That's what I
effing
thought.
trade mission.
The effing Trade Commission.
Federal?
Yes.
Federal.
Yeah, that might be also correct. They had some interesting quotes here. Holly Vadova, who is the director of the FTC's Bureau of Competition, said Microsoft has already shown that it can and will withhold content from its gaming rivals. Today, we seek to stop Microsoft from gaining control over a leading independent game studio and using it to harm competition in multiple dynamic and fast-growing gaming markets. To continue, they said, quote, the FTC pointed to Microsoft's record of acquiring and using valuable gaming content to suppress competition from rival consoles, including its acquisition of ZeniMax, which is the parent company of Bethesda Softworks. Microsoft decided to make several of Bethesda's titles, including Starfield and Redfall, Microsoft exclusive, despite assurances it had given to European antitrust authorities that had no incentive to withhold games from rival consoles. Those are just two snippets of, I think, a larger press release, but...
Did they?
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
I don't know. The whole thing's a little weird because it's like Sony makes all of their games exclusive.
And I was going to say, Uncle Pete is a pretty public dude, and I don't ever remember him saying that they promised. Like,
Yeah.
Why else would they buy the studio? Like, that's the whole.
Yeah, it's a little strange, that whole thing. It got even, well, before even this came out, like earlier in the week, Microsoft was out there talking about how Nintendo was offered and accepted a 10-year deal with Call of Duty, and then they also did it to Steam, and like some of the Xbox higher-ups were out there tweeting like, Sony, you're welcome to have a conversation with us. We gladly will offer this to you. And like Gabe Newell was out there from Steam talking about how Microsoft is great at what they do, and it's kind of weird that they offered this to them, yada, yada, yada. And it's just been a really weird, like, political week for Xbox when it comes to all of the FTC stuff. Yeah. I felt like they were trying to like get out ahead of that to try to control the sentiment of the whole situation rather than just let the FTC put out their press release for all of it. So
The EU Commission said that Xbox did not make such promises to them. The EU denied it.
Great. Good job, FTC.
Good job, FTC.
Crush it.
So basically basing the public reasons they're doing a lawsuit turned out to be just literal lies. Okay.
Great. Yeah, so we'll be paying attention to that. They've got till what? I think June till that thing goes through of next year. I don't know enough about the legalese around it. I don't know if the FTC can like delay that from happening until they rule, but what did you read in your chat code? Made you laugh?
Well, now chat is saying not true, no.
Ah,
I don't know what to think anymore.
politics.
I give up.
The internet. Yeah. So Zeke, hopefully that just confuses you more because I think that's about how that all goes.
Hey, listen, I've been playing the Metal Gear game, so living in a state of confusion is like home base for me now.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know what's going on, you're doing the right thing. You're in the right place.
There you go.
You're not doing anything wrong, I promise.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it, I'll ask it because someone in chat asked it. Are we pro merger? Do we have an opinion on this? Do we care if Microsoft acquires Activision Blizzard? Is that a good thing? Is it a bad? Like, where do the three of us sit?
I mean, it's weird. So Microsoft is definitely a giant global spanning company. And I think it's the less companies under a big umbrella, the better.
Right.
They have shown that they're willing to, hopefully, like in the case of Exile and Obsidian, give resources to making better games. And I do like seeing better games get made or games that have an enhancement, that kind of thing. But I don't know. I think overall, unless there's tangible reasons and tangible like benefits, which I don't really see in the case for Activision Blizzard, they already have $1 bajillion. Like this is all just, oligarchs playing with companies, basically.
Yeah.
I don't really see a reason for it. It seems that the only person who will win in that kind of situation is the people at the tops of those companies and not the consumer. I don't see WoW getting better. I don't see any Activision Blizzard products coming out being better due to this merger. So it's one thing for a company to buy a smaller company and then give them an influx of resources. It's another thing for two giant companies to come together and then have more control over how they can dick consumers.
Right. That makes sense to me.
I'm always for, competition breeds innovation and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
the more people we have competing over stuff, the better this shit's going to be, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Somebody did just bring up the really good point, though. That would theoretically mean a lot more games on Game Pass.
I mean, yes, it would make Game Pass better for customers.
That's not
There's
wrong.
also the potential argument that if the merger goes through, Kotick is out down the line. You never know if that will actually happen. But
that's a completely different situation. But I mean, his out is about as advantageous to him as it possibly could be given the situation with this merger. So
yeah,
it's out with a huge paycheck and a handshake on the way out the door.
Yeah, but then it begs the question: is out better than, out with all of the things you just said, better than staying?
Yeah, I mean that's a valid point. Yeah.
I mean, he's already rich. He's just going to be a couple richer, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Him being out of the industry is a win for the industry.
Yeah. It's I think it's a fairly nuanced situation. I don't know and that's kind of a bullshit answer for me, but I don't feel strongly one way or the other. I think it really just comes down to like what happens after, right? Like the actions that follow it. And those will most likely, lean towards whatever makes the most money. But yeah, we'll just have to see. Some people feel very strongly one way or the other. And those people may or may not be in chat today and on the internet. So yeah, we'll see. It's definitely a big deal. Whatever happens will affect our industry and the greater industry in significant ways. If it's blocked, it'll be super big deal. If it's passed, it'll be a super big deal regardless. And that's, ripples will be in the water. I want to see what those ripples actually are and what changes after all of that occurs. So I'm sure it's not the last time we'll be talking about the story as the months progress till June, I guess, is when all that stuff is supposed to go through or be blocked. Yeah. We will see. What else is out there? I saw this quote. I was curious if you guys saw this. It does have to do with Xbox and PlayStation. Phil Spencer said that Sony wants to grow PlayStation by making Xbox smaller. Did y'all see that quote?
Whoa. No, I didn't.
No.
What do you say exactly?
So let's see where he actually said this. He said it on a Second Request podcast that Sony is trying to grow its own business by making Xbox smaller. Quote, there has really only been one major opposer to the deal, and it's Sony. Sony is trying to protect their dominance on console. The way they grow is by making Xbox smaller, Spencer said. They have a very different view of the industry than we do. They don't ship their games day and date on PC. They don't put their games into subscriptions when they launch their games. They're starting to think about mobile as I see from the outside, just reading some of the moves they're doing. Spencer went on to say that Sony grabbing onto Call of Duty and its argument as to why the deal should not be allowed to go through doesn't make sense to him. Said that Microsoft has said repeatedly that it will not take Call of Duty off PlayStation if the bid goes through. In fact, Spencer said he and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella called Sony on the day it announced the deal to buy Activision Blizzard to say it intended to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation should the deal be accepted. So it all kind of stems with that because Sony is like the biggest.
I mean, he's what he's saying is right, but it does seem a little weird to have him. That's kind of a personal attack,
Yeah,
that's generally kind of beneath them. Is that a weird way to say it? But I don't know. That's a little. But they're not wrong. I mean, the way Sony does business is antiquated and it's incredibly anti-consumer.
Right.
That's how it's always been. And arguably they're trying to keep that going by preventing this kind of merger. So I don't know. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
Not something I expected
Yeah,
from Phil
and
though.
well, we've interviewed Phil before, right? And he seems like the guy who call bullshit when he sees it, and that's what it kind of seems like to me. He's like, "This is bullshit. We know it's bullshit, and this is why it's bullshit. And if I have to point fingers, well, here you go. I'm going to point."
Right. Right. Yeah. I did want to read this tweet. Brad Smith, who is the vice chair and president at Microsoft, when all this was kind of going on the 6th, quote tweeted Phil Spencer's tweet about entering into the 10-year commitment with Call of Duty and Nintendo and yada, yada, yada. His tweet said, quote, our acquisition will bring Call of Duty to more gamers and more platforms than ever before. That's good for competition and good for consumers. Thank you, Nintendo. Any day Sony wants to sit down and talk, we'll be happy to hammer out a 10-year deal for PlayStation as well. So they're like kind of going on the offensive now, just putting it all on Sony. That might also be them trying to, sway the public sentiment as Sony being the bad guy in this situation.
Yeah, but we also got to remember, like, these are major companies that are out for profit. So this could also just be a
Totally.
way for them not only to sway the public, but to try to maneuver Sony or pressure Sony into an unadvantageous deal for something like this.
Yeah.
Where, maybe they would have been able to get a lot more or more perks. Now they're kind of like, well, look, this is what everyone's thinking. You got to take this deal. We know you got to take this deal. So, gives a little bit of power in that negotiation.
Yeah. Yeah. Very weird to see all of that, especially from Microsoft, who I think has been kind of quiet on most of that stuff. And then on the 6th, they just went probably because they knew what the FTC was about to publish on Thursday. They just kind of went on the offensive with all that stuff. It's going to be an interesting next couple of months, that's for sure. I think you'll start to see a lot of mud start to sling out there on social media and in different podcasts and all that stuff. We also had some other news outside of the Game Awards and outside all that. Dwarf Fortress was looking to do 160,000 units in the first 2 months. They hit that in the first 24 hours. They have not, at least that I've seen, commented on how much it has sold on Steam. But every time I've looked at Steam, it's been sitting on that top selling #1 spot. They seem to be crushing it out there for a game that's been in development for 20 years. Good for those guys. That's an absolute, it's a feel-good moment, one might say, if they were voting for something on their list this year. Have either of you jumped into that? Cohh, did you play it at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of it. It is incredibly cool to see it get the success that it deserves. Those guys have been working on Dwarf Fortress for a incredibly long time, and they basically took everything that made the game good and made it more accessible. There are, some bugs and some things that will need to be improved over time, but they're still working on it. And if anything, we know they'll keep working on it till it's to their quality level. And yeah, it's definitely a very, very feel good moment to see them succeed.
Yeah, I think
Dwarf Fortress is the game that I saw like old, like it first came out with like
is ASCII.
ASCII
art. Yeah.
Yep.
With like @ symbols, periods, carrots. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It here's their like launch video. That's what it looked like, Zeke. And that's what it looks like now. It's got graphics and everything. And in a lot of ways, maybe all the ways, RimWorld is, exists because this game.
Oh yeah, RimWorld is based on it.
Yeah, did what it did. A lot of games did what it have tried to emulate it. And the other cool aspect of it too is the whole reason that they decided to go to Steam was because one of it's two brothers, I think, that are kind of the two people behind the game. One of them had some health issues come up, and so they needed a little bit extra funds, and so they decided to go to Steam to seek that out. Those are the two brothers, I think, right there. and it seems like they're not going to have to worry about that for a while,
Yeah.
if ever again, when it comes to money. So it's good stuff.
So what is the same like gameplay loop? Because I haven't played Dwarf Fortress, but I have played a little bit of RimWorld. Is the gameplay loop, like the fun aspect of it, is it very similar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, in
Is
Dwarf
there a-
Fortress, your colony is going to perish. It's going to die, and you just need to make sure that it, you try to make it last as long as it can, and suffer through all the crazy shit that can happen. And although in the new version they did add some kind of like finish stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just taking your colony as long as you can.
That was my next question. Is there an ultimate goal?
I think there is now. There can be now, but
Yeah.
it's to become like a mountain home. But I mean, you certainly, you don't have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even RimWorld has a ultimate goal.
Oh, RimWorld has endings. Unlike
Yeah.
Dwarf Fortress, RimWorld has endings. Yeah, not quite the same.
Yeah.
Victory conditions is a better way to say it.
And then the other big news this past week, all the news really, came from the Game Awards. Our VOD is up for that, or up with our co-stream of that. If you want to watch it, I think it's just over 3 hours. It was for Jeff coming out and saying, yeah, this will be our shortest show.
And then Christopher happened.
Yeah, Christopher Judge opened up the show with a very lengthy speech, and they had to start playing people off via music. And then, of course, all the stuff that happened at the end of the show occurred, which also took a lot of the spotlight, unfortunately. And I think some of that stuff is still going. I've seen a handful of folks say that they're interviewing the individual who was on stage during the Game of the Year acceptance speech and did the whole Bill Clinton stuff. That's been memed to death at this point. Bill Clinton's been modded into Elden Ring. That's a thing you can go play.
I didn't know that, but yeah, of course it has.
It's all over the place. But I still think it was the best Game Awards thus far, given everything. I thought they've like, and here's a question though that maybe is one for discussion. Was it the best Game Awards because of the trailers that they had, or because they've nailed that showdown?
Both.
You think both?
I think both.
It was without a doubt. I mean, the stuff they announced was kept secret. It was huge. They had some very big industry announcements there from a bunch of like incredible developers. If you strip all of that away and it's just the show, I still think it's the best one they've done. It everything that they like that the show itself did was great. Maybe the only criticism is how they handle the awards still, in terms of the rapid
They're
fire
still
stuff.
glossed over. Like, and yeah.
I saw a bunch of
How many like awards did they actually present of the awards on stage?
less than 10.
Yeah.
I unless I'm like lost in the haze of tech difficulties and I just was not paying attention that much. But it was definitely low. Yeah. It was for how many awards they give out, it was low for sure.
Yeah. Al Pacino was there. That was
That's true.
That was the thing.
I think that like I honestly think that means and says a lot. And I think that's why he was there and why they probably got him there. But it does give like some credibility to the awards show in a lot of ways, I think.
Yeah. Why do you think he agreed to it? Like what
Money.
like besides just money though?
I don't know. Yeah.
He obviously said he didn't play games or even really know a lot about them. Like,
Right.
I think it was just, I feel like that was like a real life version of Cameo.
Yes. I would agree.
It seems weird that someone who's as iconic and makes as much money from doing movies as he does, like, would do it just for the money.
Well, he did
I'm
mention
wondering,
something
like,
about his grandkids or something
That's
like
what
that.
I'm thinking. Like
Yeah.
maybe his grandkids were like, "Do it, do it, Grampy, do it."
Right. I mean, that's why what's his name was playing Odin this year in God of War, right? Like the only reason he accepted that
Richard Schiff,
position
yeah.
is because his grandkids said, like, yeah, you have to do it. You have to do
Oh,
whatever
wow.
this role is. He said that in an interview.
That's cool.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's awesome.
But I think it did, it lends itself to, that was probably a press release somewhere, right? Like the Game Awards hosted blah, blah, blah game, yada, yada, publisher, and Al Pacino, who gave out X award at the start. And I think it's also cool for everyone in that category, as well as Christopher Judge, who won and got handed the award from Al Pacino, right? Like that's kind of a cool thing. Out of all the like awards that were actually given on stage, I don't know if there's a celebrity that's outside of the gaming industry that would like have that same coolness to it. Like maybe some like Steven Spielberg giving game or best game direction or something, I guess would be kind of in the same vein, but not necessarily in the same vein.
Or like, is it John Williams, the most famous composer, like music composer?
Sure, yeah.
John Williams giving out best soundtrack or best.
Yeah, him or like Hans
audio.
Zimmer or someone. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
that
there
could
you go.
work. Yeah. Definitely a shocker though. They started that show off strong. Al Pacino, Hades 2. Those are like the first things that we saw from that award. And no one was expecting Hades at all. I mean, that was completely surprised. That was a great way to start the show off.
No, and yeah, I spoke to that. Like Supergiant has always made good games and never made a sequel.
Yeah.
And no, me included, I wrote it off after I finished Hades. I was like, well, I wish there was more, but alas, we'll look for the next Supergiant game, whatever that new IP may be. Oh yes!
Yeah. Be very exciting whenever that releases. That's exactly right, Zeke. For you guys, I'm sure your chats have already asked this, so it should be a potential quick question. What was the best like announcement for you guys? Or best trailer? Maybe not announcement. What was the best trailer that was shown? Yeah.
Armored Core, man.
Yeah.
I gotta give it to Armored Core as far as best trailer goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really
that
really
gave me
dope.
the tingles, dude. Oh my lord.
I'm still
When I
simping.
realized what I was watching. Oh. Woo.
I'm still simping pretty hard for Final Fantasy 16. That trailer was, the music and that will sway me over. But Armored Core was fantastic for sure.
Yeah.
It was real special.
I'd probably go Armored Core, then either like Diablo 4.
That trailer was pretty badass.
Yeah. But like as far as like the most hype that I got, like those were the best looking and sounding ones to me. Like Final Fantasy 16 probably be up there.
Yeah.
But the ones that got me the hypest definitely tie between Hades 2 and Judas.
Oh, Judas was pretty good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the trailers weren't like as well, like, they weren't as sizzling. You know, that's the sizzle in the game is the steak. Like their trailers were good, don't get me wrong, but like the Armored Core trailer just fucking beat them to death with the, with a rocket. But the ones I was watching and went, yeah, Hades 2 and Judas, no question.
Yeah. I think Hades 2 probably biggest announcement. That and Bear McCreary for some reason when I freaked out over him showing up. That was also
the country music star.
Yeah, the country music star Bear McCreary. A huge moment for the Game Awards to get him. Yeah. Did y'all see? I don't know if y'all would have on TikTok. Diablo has an account, and it popped up on my feed. They took that trailer, and specifically the moment where the priest or whoever is in front of all of the guards and like bows down, and the spears come through the shield wall. They took that and put the David Guetta song "I'm Good" or whatever, the "I'm Blue" remake of "I'm Good," and the second that she like bows down, that song starts, and that's an official TikTok from Blizzard Diablo.
Sure,
and man, it sucks. It fucking sucks. I was not a fan of that. I like just leave the original fucking trailer, man. You don't like.
Why are you gonna make something so cool and then ruin it?
Yeah, it really. I saw that. I was like, this sucks. Every part of that sucks. So saw that. Thought that was pretty funny. big award winner obviously was Elden Ring, winning Game of the Year. Shout out to the we got called out on YouTube for hating on Elden Ring all year, then to see it win. I thought that was pretty funny because I don't think we did that at all. That was enough to stick with me till today, 24 hours after the fact. So I suppose he wins.
Yep.
Everything else, not really big surprise. Like, were there any other awards that were shockers or huge? Not really. Everything kind of went.
The only thing that was a little bit strange is apparently with the fan favorite votes, there was a bug on the website that would not let you go through the votes unless you picked like Sonic or Genshin. And those were the two highest voted. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Weird.
So people
That's
were a little
funny.
bit up in arms about that.
I didn't see that. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's weird. But overall, I thought it was good. I went back and watched all those trailers after the fact. I thought Jedi Survivor looks really good gameplay wise. That's going to be super fun to play. Diablo's that trailer's that's like classic Blizzard in terms of its cinematics.
They make a great trailer, man.
Yeah, it was
Always have.
It was very cool. Very cool to see that.
Oh,
Jedi,
Horizon didn't win a
amazing.
single award, did they?
No, Horizon
No.
got screwed again. I really I feel bad. I mean, look, they got their accolades, right? They what's the saying? They got their roses or whatever when that game came out. It reviewed well. People, had a great time playing it. It's a fantastic game. They just got absolutely trounced. Like, I think any game that was hoping to nab a Game of the Year award with Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok in the same year, like, that's an uphill battle to try to best those, both just in the actual game and also just the sentiment on the internet. It's rough.
Yeah, I got as far as I was like, okay, I got a week to play Horizon before Elden Ring comes out. I'm gonna try and beat it in a week. And I got as far as I could, and I went, get the fuck out of here. Elden Ring's here. I do not regret it. And I haven't gone back to it. Like, I want to at some point, but like, I don't regret going to Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Because Horizon was a great game. Elden Ring was something special.
Yeah.
Great game.
I agree. I think if their DLC, at least for the first game, is anything to go by, that DLC is probably going to be spectacular, and so maybe it'll win. Maybe people will go back and be like, "Oh, right, that game came out when that DLC launches next year." I'm sure that's what they're hoping for, because it's a fantastic game, looks fucking insane. One of the best looking games, if not the best looking game of the past year. But it's not God of War and it's not Elden Ring. Right, like, it just comes down to that.
They don't have like it was up for like graphics. Horizon was up for graphical something, right?
Was there even a best graphics award, or was there an art style award?
There's an art direction.
Art direction.
Art direction. Is that like encompass all? It's kind of weird.
It's such a big thing. Like, saying art direction can be so many things.
Yeah.
But like, if it was like graphical innovation, like, I would hope Horizon would get that, because I watched, like, I played 100% of God of War, and I'm like, man, they should take a fucking note from Horizon, because some of them, like I'm over here, hey boy, I'm over here, and he's sitting there like talking to me, like facing this way, and his mouth is just going, and I'm like, you got a lot going for you, God of War, but Horizon fucking stomps you in the facial animation category.
Right. Yeah. Of all the games, though, I think Horizon's maybe the one I feel the worst for. But it's still sold well. It reviewed well. It was a big deal when it came out. It just came out. What was it? Really a week between that and Elden Ring? Was it only a week before those? That seems like, I can't recall, but that seems crazy that there was a week in between those games.
It does seem pretty wild. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird. Wild.
I still think that they
on.
should have if they wanted to keep their indie category, they should add a self-published category. I think that would be great. Like you have your indie games that can be published by whoever, and then you have your indie games that are self-published and made a name that way. Like they didn't have anybody like no big company backing or anything like that. No Devolver and a Tiny Build 505. None of those guys.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I saw a lot of conversation kind of in the same vein in terms of the awards given out and if they need to change them or show more of them. I saw like a lot of esport folk. Golden Boy was one of them, just saying like either completely kill off the esports awards or fucking show them.
I said that.
Because they didn't show a single one.
I can imagine that'd be pretty frustrating.
Yeah. It seems kind of like a community grab in the sense of like we want that industry to watch us, but we don't want to give it, the stage within the show. And that kind of sucks. Like there needs to be a bigger focus on that stuff for sure. Or just don't include it, right? Like just be okay with not including it, even though I think it should be included in some degree. I think that'll be where that show evolves next year. If it were to evolve again and change at all, it's kind of tough because like you can't make that show longer than it is. So I don't know how you give.
That's a good point.
How you give focus
Honestly,
to those awards, unless you cut ads
or do them during the pre-show properly.
Yeah. I mean the other thing too you have to consider is like if you cut the ads are why people show up to that thing. In terms of like watching, not like the people in the audience. I mean like people watch the Game Awards because of the ads. It also pays for the show in a lot of ways too, in all the ways most likely. But
when you say ads, you're talking about the trailers and stuff, right? And reveals.
Yeah, I guess I should be more specific. I mean like the trailer reveals, the world premieres and all that stuff. Yeah. Ads, but yes, the world premieres and all that stuff is why people get they watch them. But don't get it twisted, chat. Those are ads. Those are just ads.
Yeah.
But I get hype over them too. I'm right there with you guys. You're not alone in that.
Ads for gamers, you mean? Someone said ads for gamers.
Yeah.
Advertisements you want to see are still ads. Today I learned.
Yes.
I know, right?
Yeah, exactly. You'll be tired of those trailers soon when they're running, 6 minutes every hour of the Diablo 4 thing, just nonstop. So, all right, let's do a little bit what we've been playing, and then we can jump into God of War, and maybe wrap it up a little bit early so we don't go sick. I don't want to keep around too much. What have you guys been playing this past? Really anything? There's a bunch of stuff we just haven't even talked about. Midnight Suns, I don't think we've spoken about. Zeke's been in Metal Gear Land. Coh's been playing a bunch of stuff. I jumped into PoE. We can kind of take it wherever we want. Have you played any more Metal Gear since the Game Awards, Zeke?
Yep.
Yeah.
I played a little bit before. I played all day yesterday. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots.
Yeah.
Is the current game that I'm on, and it is every single Metal Gear game that comes out, like it has it's like slider bars for like, all right, absurdity, convoluted story, like graphical quality, audio quality, control scheme. Every single Metal Gear game has a different control scheme. Let me just say that. Like every one of them, from one to the next, does not keep all of like the basic same controls. They change them as they go, and it's just weird. Sometimes it seems really arbitrary. Like, why would you change that? It was fine before.
This is the greatest.
And sometimes I will admit this might be the best cutscene in any game I've ever seen ever.
I was starting to say this is a banger. This is sick.
Like, I would except for the sepia tone that's on fucking everything, which I hate.
Yeah. Like
the sepia filter, like if it had like better color, this would be like the best piece of cinema ever, like I've ever seen. Like you'll see what I mean, like towards the end when he starts dancing ish. But yeah, this was like absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's more ridiculousness in this. More like it's not as like the most convoluted and ridiculous one still so far goes to Metal Gear Solid 2. But of course, everybody who's played through the game will go, just wait.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting. I'm ready. I'm ready for this to just blow my mind with how absurd it is.
Where are you at?
In this story, you play, and I'm not kidding you, his name is Old Snake. That's his call sign. It's Old Snake.
Yep.
Which, dude, fucking what? Why do you change it? Just anyway, hold on. Let me just. Sorry, I asked why. I asked why. I'm giving myself a warning. Don't ask why.
True.
Okay. All right. Got to be careful from here on out because I don't want the red card. So you start as your Old Snake, and you have a time limit. Like you find out that like your life is going to end because of nanomachines, and you have to fucking I'll explain it wrong. No matter how I explain it, I'll explain it wrong. But I'll just say the things that are in it. Your brother, he's here. In the arm of Ocelot, but he's now called Liquid Ocelot, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Because he's the nanomachines from Liquid, from the arm they transplanted onto Revolver Ocelot, which was cut off by Gray Fox, the ninja who died in Metal Gear Solid 1, I believe. The nanomachines in his arm took over, and now he's no longer Ocelot at all. He just looks like him. He's now Liquid.
Yep. All checks out.
They as you might imagine, Liquid wants complete control over everything in the world. He's like the despot bent on world domination, and therefore, and then everybody, if he's in control, everybody can be free, I guess, or something like that. So we're trying to do that. We're trying to stop his plans. He has designs on the frozen, or well, not frozen, the barely kept alive torso of Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 3, who Liquid Snake, Solidus Snake, and Solid Snake. Don't get Solidus and Solid confused, idiot.
Yeah,
how could you?
They're different.
Totally different. Also, this was a great part. The camo is really cool in this game. Yeah. But yeah, so he's trying to take the body of Big Boss and use the it's. You know what? Never mind. I'm done. I'm done trying to.
I was wondering how long this would go down.
Absurd. The cutscenes in this one are just fucking inordinately long. They're super duper long.
Man, and you're not even to the long ones.
2 hours. Oh, I know.
I'm sure you get that nonstop, but yeah, you're right. They're very long. Yeah.
But it's really fun and good, and it's so still Kojima. It's the really serious subject matter thrown in with the boobies. Here's some boobies.
Yeah. You
want to look at those? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, sure. I do want to look at those. And having been a teenage boy at one point, there's still a part of me that gets, excited about beating ass, shooting people, and then just the interstitial of you can change the remote control in the mission briefing. You can hit the remote control. So instead of talking to the colonel, you're just looking at sexy girl pictures. But the colonel's voice is still coming out of the TV. So you see these Cohh bikini pictures with this and you have to get in there, Snake, and you have to go and capture Big Boss's body. So that, just the juxtaposition is fantastic. And the Easter eggs, thank you once again. Shout out to Ty Martinez, my resident Easter egg hunter, who has shown me some shit you would just miss. And that's, I think, if I were to subscribe the word genius to Kojima, it would have nothing to do with anything else other than the shit he packs into the game. There's so much missable, like tongue-in-cheek, winky, like references and side shit. It's amazing. It's still amazing to me from game to game how much stuff you can just miss by playing the game casually. How dare you?
Right. Yeah, it's you almost can't play these games casually.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to like fully experience them. So.
And it would seem to me, I don't know how long the speed run for this game is, but it would seem like it's probably under like 20 minutes from what I see, because it's like all cutscenes, and you can just run past everybody usually if you want to. If that's what you want to do, you can usually just run to the next area.
Yeah.
And not like have to not kill anybody. Oh, also the tradition of that was set in I think it was the end of 2. Maybe. No. End of 3. Yeah, because Ava's older, right? So the end of 3, the motorcycle chase where Metal Gear is tromping after you.
Yeah.
You don't have to press a single button in that scene at all. Sticking with tradition, this long ass motorcycle scene in the middle of Metal Gear Solid 4, you don't have to touch a single thing. One ration heal will get you through the entire fucking scene. You could be shooting everybody around you and like trying to, but you don't need to at all. I just put the controller down and I was like, oh, I need a ration. Bloop. And that was it. Next chapter.
Yep. Sounds about right. Sounds how it goes. Sounds like Metal Gear. Man, I haven't seen this game in a while. I forgot you could like straight up just change who you are thanks to the future camo.
Dude, that sexy octopus mask or whatever.
Oh, you fought that boss.
Octopus.
Yeah.
That was a really fun boss. The I always want to say decoy octopus because that's what they alluded to in a different game.
Right.
But it's laughing octopus in this game because she's going crazy
insane, yeah.
But that fight was really cool. The camo, the like, it was like a prop hunt. That was like a really fun fight. I really dug it. The mechanics of that was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can put on that mask and in a lot of cutscenes you'll hear Snake talking through the beauty octopus mask. It's fucking great.
Strange.
It's super strange. But
so where are you at in the story?
Loving it. Let's see.
What was the last thing you did?
This isn't too far from where I ended.
Oh, so about halfway.
Big. I got to Metal Gear Solid 1, and I called it for the day.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. If you played the game, you know what I
forgot that happened. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I got to that part. I got 20 minutes left of the stream, so I'm going to end a little early, because I want to go into this hype as fuck with fresh eyes. Want to really enjoy this part, and it was out of nowhere. I had no idea that was coming. I'm so glad no one spoiled that for me. But like, you're just plonked down into Metal Gear Solid 1, and I was just blown away.
Yeah. I forgot that happened. Okay. Yeah. Trying to think what else.
Yeah, Shadow Moses Island, for those of you who know the lore. And lots of Easter eggs, Ty. Ty is champing at the bit. Just like, oh, I got eggs for you, son. There's so many in this area, you're going to die.
Jeez. Cool. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. Is the plan to still play 5 at some point? Are you still?
No, I'm gonna try out all of them. Like, it doesn't mean I'm gonna play through all of them, but like, and I've said this for the last 8 years streaming. Like, if I don't like a game, I will not continue it.
I mean,
like, I don't care if I'm in the middle, I'm right before the end. I don't give a fuck. If I'm not enjoying it, I won't keep playing it. But we're gonna try. We're gonna try that. We're gonna try Metal Gear Solid 5. We're gonna try Peace Walker. We're gonna try Revengeance.
5 has the best gameplay. It's also going to probably take you 120 hours or so without you play games. Because it's like 50
is it super long?
It's like 50 to 70 hours for a normal playthrough. For you, it'll probably take you like 100. Yeah. It's
interesting.
It's very long. And that's all, for the most part, that's gameplay, right? Like 5 is the inverse of 4, where it's predominantly
it's very
gameplay.
strange. Yeah.
And the gameplay is very, 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 very good. Very fun. So we'll see when you get to that in, I don't know, probably January, February at some point, whenever you play it. take a break.
Yeah, it have to be after January because CD-ROMthon, but yeah.
Got it.
Also, just one last thing. This game is chock full of cameos.
Uh-huh.
People pop in from the previous 3 games, and that's been a lot of very fun fan service.
Yeah. That'll keep up. Cohh, what have you been playing past couple days? What are you grinding on? Oh, you're muted.
There we go. Spent a lot of time in the Warhammer 40K alpha. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are those VODs on
that
your
was-
YouTube to pull it up real quick?
Could be.
Let me see. Yeah, because I did want to mention that and show that. Is it just the alpha that anyone can play, or was it private access?
Oh yeah. It's the alpha. Yep. The founder alpha.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can pull. Oh, I forgot you played Forspoken. I want to talk about that too.
Yep. Did a 2-hour sponsor stream for Forspoken.
So is it? What would you liken Rogue Trader to in terms of like similar CRPGs?
I mean, it's a CRPG, so it follows all that. Probably Pathfinder, Kingmaker, and Wrath of the Righteous, just because Owlcat is the same producer. But it does have its own complete custom rule set, and it is much more, of course, like grimdark Warhammer 40K.
Yeah.
So just in a little bit of time that I played it, there's a lot of cool things to see, a lot of cool things to do. There's ship combat, so you actually get to like pilot your ship through space, and there's like a turn-based tactical combat where you blow up other ships and stuff, and looks like a lot of unique characters, and it's for an alpha, it's pretty damn great.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it. Yeah.
How much like character? Do you make your main character?
Well, they started you at chapter 2 in the alpha, so we don't know how
Oh.
much customization there is so far.
Okay.
So, but there it does seem to be a lot of customization. There's going to be backgrounds, and then there's going to be like classes inside the backgrounds, and then advanced classes in those.
Wow.
So there's going to be a pretty dang good amount of customization. Yeah.
Cool. Does it seem like they nailed the Warhammer-ness of it? Like, is that that crowd
It's
happy
great.
with it? Yeah.
The bit that I played was fantastic.
Okay.
I'm not a huge Warhammer fan, so you'd have to ask if they really nailed it to them. But I mean, it's been really good so far. Yep.
Did playing Darktide at all help with kind of some of the lore in this? Was there? Did you
not
notice things
really.
in Darktide where you're like, it's that, or is it that different?
Not really too much. It takes place in a like a completely different section. So there maybe a few things with the chaos gods and stuff, but no, they're very very different games. Very different.
Like power level wise, you're not interacting with that type of stuff this early, right? Like you're not seeing. Like I guess maybe the question is, what are you seeing in terms of the like power level of everything around you? Is it fairly grunt stuff that early on, or are you fighting?
Well, chapter 2, I mean, you're fighting like servitors, and I did fight a what was it, a furnace demon or something.
Okay.
There are definitely some stronger enemies that you fight, but mostly it's been like rebels and servitors, and we fought a couple. Like we found a random ship in space that was derelict that had been taken over by chaos, and all sorts of.
That's cool. That's cool. Are you able to fly from like planet to planet, or how does it handle that?
Yeah.
Not
only can you fly from planet to planet, but like a big part of the game is flying around, like scanning planets. So you can set up like resource extraction outposts and eventually colonies. And then colonies, you actually choose how they grow, and there's like colony quests and stuff. So it looks like it's going to be pretty expansive. A lot of those features in the alpha are very undeveloped, so we're not exactly sure what they're going to look like. But you can see them there, and that they're going to be doing them.
Nice. Any timeline on when and where and how it's all going to be released, or they just put this
I don't
out
think
and
so.
said, play it, help us?
Yeah. Help us. They're kind of going with a less expansive, I'd say, Larian approach with it, where they're kind of like, they put out the alpha and they're like, give it a try, let us know what you like, let us know what you don't like, and we're going to kind of keep moving from there.
Cool. What are they asking for it on Steam? Do you know?
Price wise, I'm not sure, and I don't think you can just buy the base game and get into this. I think this was a more specialized.
Yeah, it just says coming soon, so I guess it's not out.
So I think this was a large backer thing or something.
There's pre-order the collector's edition, but it doesn't say it comes with the game. So okay, cool. Well, I guess coming soon then is the best thing.
If you are a founder who bought the developers pack or collector's edition, just like you said, you can get a Steam key for it.
Got it. Okay. Let's talk about this Forspoken thing, this demo they put out. I've heard a bunch of things about this. I'm curious about your opinion on the game. This game's been delayed a bunch. It's finally coming out early next year, I think February-ish. How's the demo? Like, what are you thinking? Is the gameplay good? What are you thinking?
It is a very standard isekai game from what we're seeing.
Okay.
A game where
Very standard what?
Isekai.
Okay.
So basically like a normal person gets, just doing their normal person thing, gets sucked into being a hero kind of thing. It's the standard, that kind of standard story. And it's the combat, I went in with pretty low expectations because everything I saw from it looked okay. The traversal system looked fun. I thought it was going to be like a Warframe, kind of traversal system. Turns out it's not really. You just kind of hold a button and kind of fly through things. There's not really any complexity to it of any kind.
Oh.
Combat is kind of cool. It's kind of spammy. You have two different groups of magic, and then you have different spells within the magic, as well as like combo skills you can do and hold down skills you can do. There's auto targeting, which makes that kind of easy, and it was okay. Overall, I felt like with the combat and stuff, like it was okay. It was by no means my favorite, but it wasn't bad. Like the combat was pretty engaging, and especially when I figured out which spells I liked after trying them all. I was doing that stuff a lot better, and that was good. However, at first I had like the banter on, and the banter is generally between the main character and her magic bracelet thing, which is like a British man essentially.
Okay.
And I gotta say,
man,
man,
bracelet.
Yep, it was bad. Like it was
bad. How?
It was
like verbose?
Bad as in it is clearly like the lines were just exceptionally lame, very forced. Things like like, man, you really walloped those guys. Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, and it's just like, why did you even say that?
Sure.
Just a lot of very forced banter, a lot of very very teenage oriented stuff. Like random F-bombs every so often, like for
From
no
the main
reason. She'd all of
character?
a sudden drop F-bombs. Yeah, like 3 or 4 times throughout the demo, she all of a sudden started dropping F-bombs, and it's just like, why are you doing this? Like it's strange. But yeah, it's very clear that the banter and this is what has me concerned about the game as a whole. It's very clear that the banter is directed towards a younger audience, like a teenage audience. It's very like man, I wish I get more sleep. Oh, you're tired. Yeah, I'm always tired, and it's just like, okay. It's very much slated towards younger people. And that
like
has me a little bit concerned for like the whole story. Like if the whole story is going to have that same kind of vibe that the banter does.
Are you seeing that in like proper story cutscenes? Is it the same?
There's pretty
style?
much no story in the demo.
Oh,
like
it's gameplay
the demo
focused.
is just like
okay.
it's like a mini sandbox, and you have some objectives you can do. There does seem to be a relatively relatively large skill system. Maybe not deep. I didn't really have that much of a look at it. You can, there's a bunch of spells you can learn, do challenges on the spells to then, unlock further spells and things like that. There's a whole nail system where you can paint your nails, and it's like a passive thing. So that's, if you like painting nails, that's.
Do you get more power when you paint your nails? Is it like real life?
You get like passive bonus. Yes. Yes, it is.
Can you put race car stripes on your nails and go faster? Is that like what?
Little jewels and stuff like that. Yeah. It is important to mention though that there's a banter selector. You can literally turn the banter from like high to nearly off. And I turned the banter to minimal, and then it just felt like a pretty okay adventure.
Well, that's cool.
Game.
I guess.
Yeah, they they kind of stop talking, and they just kind of let you focus on playing the actual game. And for me personally, it definitely made the experience a little more tenable. But yeah, overall, like for me, I'd say the game itself felt okay. It certainly wasn't like the best action semi-open world game I've played. It wasn't the worst. The traversal system made it pretty easy to get around. It was just basically hold a button, but apparently you can make that a toggle if you want to. But the banter again was really not for me, and that does lead me to be like, especially for an isekai story to be really good, it has to be, especially these days, pretty good. I mean, even if you aren't familiar with that term, everybody in this channel has seen or experienced isekai stories. 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of thing where if they're going to do that, like it needs to hopefully bring a little bit of oomph, a little bit of flavor to the table. And I'm especially with the banter, if it's going the direction the banter is, I'm not really sure like how much staying power this game is going to have with any middle to older age audience. Middle to older age being like early 20s. Like it was very rough for
I'm trying to. When was this originally supposed to come out? Because they got it delayed to January 24th, 2023, which that seems to me like let's push it into a thing where it's not going to get.
Wow. Someone in all caps just made sure I need to. Isekai's going to a different world, Cohh. Please! Actually said that at the end in all caps. Please!
Isn't that what you do in this game?
I think that's exactly what you do in this game. So,
like, this character you're playing, I think, is from our Earth and gets transported to
that is exactly
this fantasy world, which is what an Isekai is. Nice.
Someone asked if Superman is Isekai. It's reverse Isekai, but yes.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. That'll give him something to chew on for a bit, Zeke. We'll keep him busy with that, and then we'll just move on with the show.
Yeah.
How did you play it on the PS5?
I did.
How did it look and run? Was it running fine?
There are quality and frame rate focused options. I turned it to the frame rate focus, and it ran pretty good, pretty well.
Yeah.
On the frame rate option, there were a few times when I'd be fighting a lot of guys or a lot of spell effects would be going that it feels like it would drop a little bit. Like there were noticeable drops at times. But with the performance option, which I pretty much always prefer, it seemed to run okay.
Okay.
And it looks pretty. I mean, it's a good looking game. Sometimes combat can get a little busy.
Yeah.
Like so much can be going on the screen. Kind of like right now. It can get a little busy, but yeah. I mean, the action and the combat parts were definitely the best parts for me. For sure.
All right. Is the demo like for a certain time only, or you can just grab it whenever? I know you did.
The demo's free, and
okay.
It's on PS5 only. You can't get it on PC, and then it comes out for PC and PS5 on the 24th of January.
Yeah, cool.
It also is important that as which is going to be a big thing when this game comes out, is this is an $80 game.
$79.99.
I believe maybe,
or is it
69 80 euro.
Oh, 80 euro.
I want to say it's expensive. They're trying the higher price with this one. Yeah. They're trying the higher price.
Interesting.
I want to say it might be $70, but I think they're actually trying 80 euro if I'm not mistaken.
80 euro. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Pricey.
So
is that the same on
gonna be a rough sell.
What if I go to like Steam, what does it say for the price? Yeah, $69.99 right now on Steam. So
do they give you any indication as to like playtime?
No, not that we saw.
Okay.
You can get the deluxe bundle is $95. What comes with that? An elite cloak, a Spectra combo necklace, overclock nails, a mini art book, digital, mini soundtrack, digital, prequel story, DLC to come out next summer, and prequel story DLC early access for $95. Wow.
That's a lot of dollary dues.
That's a lot of dollary dues. Yeah,
that's a lot of dollary dues.
Yeah. Did it have anything special with the PS5 controller?
So weird hearing that number and then thinking of like Game Pass, like it just in terms of like in terms of value and how much quality time you'll get out of the money you spend and stuff like that. Like that's wild.
Not wrong. Was there any DualShock 5 specialness to it, Cohh, like triggers or haptic feedback or anything?
Not too much. There was some talking through the controller that the bracelet does, which is kind of cool, but not
really. Okay. Anything else, Cohh, you want to bring up? We haven't talked Midnight Suns. We could save that for next week. Or did you play? I know you did a sponsored thing. Did you go back and play any of it after that?
Not really.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. It for me, the card game stuff was kind of cool, but I don't think I'm quite enough of a Marvel fan to get through the Sims portion.
Right.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
So card game stuff was fun. I did really enjoy that. But yeah, the problem is the Sims part of the game is so directly tied into the card portion of the game. Like you get so many tangible, real benefits by doing that Sims portion.
Yeah.
So I got to a point where I was just like, you know what? Like I don't quite care enough about that to like, and I don't want to lose out on everything else. So
Yeah, that was pretty much when people ask how it is and if they should play it, I ask them, well, are you a Marvel fan? And if the answer is no, I say, well, combat you'll probably enjoy. I don't know if you'll enjoy the jokes because there's a lot of insider info to that stuff on why Blade is just saying, tell your mother I said hello in hell type commentary. Like, you won't really understand that unless you know about Blade and who that character is, or yeah, all that stuff. But I think the combat does speak for itself. Like it is a well-made aspect of that game that you don't have to be a Marvel fan to enjoy the combat. It's just
It was
fun
fun.
XCOM strategy type stuff. The other 50% of the game, you got to be a Marvel fan, I think, for a lot of that. And enjoy like lighthearted, campy conversation. Because it is a little bit silly. It is a lot of bit silly. And some like Blade simping Captain Marvel for, a large majority of that game. And you go to a book club that Blade has created and, things like that.
it is, and I even said this in one of my sponsored tweets. I was like, this is a game made for Marvel fans.
Yes.
Like, this is a game specifically like for Marvel fans, and it really shines. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm probably the other thing that's wild about the game is it's long. It's like 50 to 70 hours for main story. I was
gonna say you get
a little
100
longer.
plus if you do everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm about halfway through. I took a break for PoE. I think I'm gonna go back and attempt to finish it. But there's a lot of hours in the game. And again, that's split 50-50. It's not all combat. You're not just constantly doing missions. So I'll probably go back to it on like Monday-ish, I would say, for a couple hours. But you got to be a Marvel fan, I think, for the dialogue in that. Otherwise, you're just going to be like, why are we listening to Iron Man debate Doctor Strange on science versus magic? Who fucking cares? Meanwhile, everyone's like, yes, this is what I wanted. If you're a Marvel fan, you're like, this sounds great. This is fantastic.
That sounds like an intrigue. Like for me, that was like, I want to know how that conversation goes.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued.
Yeah. It's fun. I've had a lot of people that really enjoy that game that are very surprised by how much they are enjoying that game. So it seems kind of love or hate it. I haven't seen anyone like middle of the road about it. But we'll probably once I finish it, I'll have more to say and discuss that. But trying to keep it short. Played PoE. Cohh, did you jump in at all? Have you checked out the league?
No, I haven't had time. I've kind of missed that first wave too, unfortunately. And shout out to my boy Ziz. He actually like made a fun little intro to one of the builds.
Oh yeah, for like play this
to do and everything. Yeah. At Cohh.tv/PoE build.
Nice.
He like put a crab costume on and everything. It was great. Dude's a champ. But yeah, like timing and stuff just didn't really seem to line up. I mean, I was hoping to get a little bit of it in, and then I've been sick, and this DKO thing, came end of last week, which would have been my cozy time to play it. So
yeah,
I just don't know if I'll make it this league.
PoE is weird these days. Like I'm enjoying it. I put I don't know 20 maybe 25 hours into the league so far.
It only came out mid last week, right?
Came out Friday at 1.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I played a lot.
Yeah.
But
Jesus.
It is I saw the stats that it was one of the lowest in terms of like Steam count for the game since like 3.0 launch. And so there definitely have been a pretty steep drop off in like people playing it. And so
I have one of their biggest leagues just a few leagues ago though.
Yeah, I think last league like really upset some people with 3.19 because all the arch nemesis stuff. Yeah. I also think there's a lot of other stuff
Wow.
going on, like Dragonflight being out. There's a huge crossover, I think, between people that play World of Warcraft and people that play PoE. So that's stealing players from it. There's also just a lot of other games out right now. And I think it's also last year they came out with the expansion in January when maybe not that many other things were going on. League mechanic wise, to speak to that, they have attempted to do a rogue like for the league mechanic, and it depends it depends on what the person is playing, if they enjoy the league or not. I feel if they're playing a build like, there's one of those things where it's hard to please everyone with the response to this because it is going to make some other people defensive, as I've seen in streaming the game for 36 hours now or whatever. It depends on the build that you're playing if you enjoy the league, because some builds are just better at the league content, which has always been true, but they're better at the league content because spell effects in the league content make the league content worse. For example, I'm playing Vortex, which I know you've played before. So you know how Vortex blocks things on the ground with the spell animation?
Yeah.
You have to be able to see things in the league. They give you a second like HP, essentially, in the mechanic. You're given 300 resolve, and you can change that and blah, blah, blah. And so when you die in the league mechanic, it's because you've run out of resolve. And everything is very telegraphed in the league. But if you're playing something that has a very dominant on-screen presence, you can't see a lot of the mechanics happening, and you just get hit by them. And so that kind of sucks.
That kind of really sucks.
Yeah. And so that's why I haven't necessarily interacted too much with the league content, because it's significantly harder. The best way for me to do it is to like turn off Vortex, which is a very significant part of a cold dot build, and just use all the other abilities within the build, except for kind of the main one. And I don't know if that's great when it comes to playing the actual game. There are obviously builds that don't have that much on-screen presence, that have very minimal spell effects occurring, and like those do very well in the content from what I've seen. So maybe it's the type of deal where I need to re-roll and play that type of stuff. That being said,
that's still super, super unfortunate.
Yeah.
Like, that's surprising. Yeah.
That being said, it is a get good mechanic. It is a like, man, I'm getting hit by this shit. I need to get better. And so that's kind of a fun thing, right? Like people that are good at dodging things within PoE are finding success with the league mechanic. And people that are bad at that type of stuff are not finding success. But league mechanic aside, they seem to have fixed the issues that happened last league with all the Arch Nemesis
The Arch
mods.
Nemesis, yeah.
Yeah, the rares are not anywhere near what they were. They've added a bunch of like benefits. PoE players will understand this. Non-PoE players won't. There's a bunch of new rare mods now, or benefits on kills. So I hit level 89 and my gems were level 20 because my the skill gems were level 20, because there's rares that give you extra skill gem XP now. And so you can level up gems a lot faster if you run into that stuff, which is cool.
That's cool.
That type of stuff is great. The rares seem fixed for the most part. I like all the mods. I haven't really ran into anything that I can't kill. But yeah, the league mechanic is what it is, and we'll see how long that either I conform to that and play something that can interact with it a lot more, or I just completely ignore it and play more PoE. I'll probably go back to playing it tonight, playing it off stream. But I think on stream, PoE's got a shorter window now these days on stream. Everyone's kind of seen it. Everyone knows what Path of Exile is. And unless you're kind of the top dogs or the peak performers in that game on Twitch, it's not the greatest game to stream. So I'll probably shelf it and become an offliner for that. But the league itself, it's fine. It's like a 7 out of 10, I would say, for me. Depends on your build, mostly. And really depends on also the person. So short and sweet on old PoE. Apart from that, I don't think there's anything else. Been playing a bunch of Marvel Snap. Still doing a sponsored stream for that after this. Actually, that's been
you
fun.
did another one? Nice.
Yeah, enjoying that.
I played a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. I can actually hold on. Let me see. 280.
Oh,
So-
man, you're playing a lot of that. What are you talking? You just started this past week.
No, I'm doing all the upgrades or the daily like what's it called? The fast
dailies.
upgrades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wait.
I'm doing those too.
Did
I'm
you
using that's all I use my gold for is buying the
Okay.
fuck. There's gold bars and what are the credits? I don't know.
Yeah, credits. I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the blue. There's the gold and the blue. I'm using the gold to buy the blue and the blue to buy the green.
Yeah.
Upgrade.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do that a lot. I still like my collection is still like
Low.
fucking so low. Like I can't even bother looking at deck builds right now
Yeah.
because
You just can't.
it's just like
You don't have the cards for it.
90% of the cards is not. I don't even own them yet. So
Yeah.
But
Cool. Let's Marvel Snap. We talked about it a bunch, so I'll cut the conversation a little short. I did play this Portal RTX. It was sponsored. I got it. This is fucking impressive. I don't know if you guys have seen footage of this, but this is Portal from 2007, and NVIDIA's RTXified it. I'm playing this at 4K with DLSS 3 on, getting like 70 frames on it.
This is the 4090?
This is with a 4090. It is remarkable looking. Like, it is simply insane just to see the lighting of this game and what they're able to do now. It's the perfect game for it, right? Because everything's very self-contained in terms of the levels that you're walking into and the lighting of environments and all that. But holy crap, it is a marvel to look at. It's stunning to just play through this again. It only was like the original Portal's like 2.5 hours or something like that. It can run on 30X cards as well. It's not just 40X cards.
For DLSS 3?
Well, you get DLSS 2, but you're not going to be, you can't run this at 4K on a 3X card. Like with a 4090 and a 10900K CPU, which is a 3-gen old CPU, I was still only pushing 70 FPS. It's incredibly demanding. If I turn off DLSS 3, I get like 20 frames. So it's a chunky thing, but it's a completely free update for Portal. You don't have to buy anything. You just download the RTX thing. And if that's like what we're in store for in the next couple of years from a lighting perspective, I'm incredibly excited. And it's a perfect game to showcase it with just those like balls flying around. Kind of crazy looking. There's also that, I know you guys don't play it, but Fortnite put out 5.1, or rather launched their new chapter, and it came with 5.1 lighting of Unreal Engine. Have you guys seen any video footage of that? Because that's also impressive. Yeah, it's very, very pretty. The fact that they're continuing to update that makes a lot of sense for Epic to do so, right? It's their flagship game. It's one of the biggest games. It has been for some time, and it looks very, very pretty with that the new lighting updates that they included in the new Unreal Engine. What is that? UE5, I guess. Their new lighting updates for UE 5.1. Anyways, that's Portal. That's Fortnite. You guys want to do some God of War Spoilercast for a bit, however long we go on for?
Hell yeah.
Let me.
I've been waiting.
What do I want to do like footage wise? I need to pull a spoiler thing for it. Zeke, you finished it up last night. Let's do this. Let's start with where we're at in terms of like finishing up the game, and I'll pull up some footage of it. Cohh, you have beaten the story. You have not done any of the like hard fights, right?
I beat the story. I have not done the hard fights. I have no qualms seeing them because I don't really feel like it's a spoiler.
Same.
Yeah, so that's fine. And I did do, I finished the game and I did do a little bit of post-game content. Specifically, the blacksmith keeps telling you to go to this place and you'll see something cool. I went there and saw something cool. And then I went to, are we officially in spoiler territory?
Yeah, because I'm pulling this up and putting these spoiler tags up. We are in spoiler territory.
Especially in
Let's
spoiler territory.
go.
I went to Brock's funeral.
Got it. Okay.
And did that. And I'm gonna go ahead and just start with this real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it, and I don't think this evolves during the course of the story unless there's more to it I didn't do. But man, Sindri, what
Stark change at the
a
end.
decision to like keep that going, because that's exactly what it would be like. It felt so realistic. Like I was actually very hopeful that we weren't going to go to the funeral and Sindri was going to be like, you know, put his hand on Atreus' shoulder and be like, it's okay. No, he was like, no, you know what? You, all of you, I still hate you and I'm leaving. And it's like, bullshit.
Yeah.
It's crazy
I
to
even
think
went
like,
online,
that's
dude.
Sindri's story. Like that's
Yeah.
that's how the game ends with Sindri. Like that really jovial, nice guy. He's been kind of part-time comic relief throughout the whole game. The end of his story is absolutely loathing the main characters and being like, I blame you extensively for this, and you used me. And it's like, wow.
It's a decision
Like,
for sure.
holy shit, dude. Like that
No.
is a decision.
I
Oh, Atreus
desperately-
wasn't there. I'm sorry. I meant the God of War. Yeah. Atreus is at that point off doing his maybe the next game's thing.
I desperately wanted closure on that part. So I went online like, where's Sindri now? Where do you find him? Where is he?
Where is he?
I want to go
sitting?
find him.
Yep.
Nothing. And I was like, that can't be. Like, I like, he fucks off. And you're just like, wait, no, but wait, but not for reals though, right? Not for reals though. Like you left that kind of open-ended there. Okay, fuck, I guess.
Yeah.
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 It's
Crazy powerful decision to make that.
yeah, I think in general, the game does a very good job of just showing like the different stages of grief. I think like the 2018 in this, you see so many different stages of like where someone can be when it comes to loss. You get to see Sindri and Brock. I mean, you get to see Kratos and Atreus, right, over the entire course of the first game with the mom. You get to see Freya and her son after the results
And the
of the
whole
first game.
the whole game is Kratos dealing with the fact that he's going to lose his father. It's almost like pre-grief.
Atreus is
Atreus,
gonna lose father.
Atreus is
Yeah,
gonna lose
100%.
Kratos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild, man.
It's wild that
All
that was
sorts of
like
different things.
that they touched on like that many facets of just kind of a single emotion, or one core emotion, not necessarily a single emotion, but a core emotion with grief.
Grief of war.
Yeah, grief of war, right. I also thought for me, I'm curious for you guys, like the biggest, the game was very emotional in parts. For me specifically, the biggest response, and I would think it's going to be different for Cohh. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but being a father, I would think it's different. But for me, the biggest emotional response, having played all of the God of War games, is when Kratos goes to the back of that board and kind of sees, you know, his future and has a moment of like, I am going to, like, fuck you, Zeus. I am going to have people worshiping me. Like, my statue's right there, motherfucker. Like, I did this. I'm here. Like, even thinking about it now, like, that's such a big, no words are spoken. It's just him seeing that and realizing that. And it's like, it's insane how much that impacted me. And I think that was probably my biggest emotional response in the game. There's a lot of stuff when Kratos is talking to Atreus as well that is very good. It's not to like diminish those scenes, but for me, it was that moment of Kratos realizing his fate and kind of the tears welling up in that moment. Cohh, was it the same for you as the father? Like, the Be Better
that
scene?
was Be Better scene was really good. Like, I think there are lots of like minor scenes that are just very impactful in terms of the relationship between them.
Yeah.
I will say though that last scene was really powerful too, with Kratos seeing that. I mean, that not only is like a big scene in terms of him changing, but it's a huge scene in terms of the fact that like he even says, I think at one point something about like envisioning a future he didn't know he had,
Yeah.
like wasn't possible or something like that. And it's kind of like that's wild. It feels very deserved after the changes that he's gone through. So that was an incredibly cool scene. Absolutely no question.
Yeah.
No
Zeke?
question.
What about for you?
It ain't even close, man.
Yeah.
The dog.
In the
Oh,
opening?
yeah.
No. When the he puts the soul of Fenrir
Oh.
into the dog, and they find him, and I'm gonna get choked up right now. I mean, he recognized him. He knows him. He's this huge, rift tearing, like,
Yeah.
otherworldly beast, giant, and you see him. You fight him, and then you see him later with a soul with Fenrir's his old wolf soul in it,
Yeah.
and he does he whines, he yawns, he does all the things, and it just like crushed me, dude. Like
Such a
seriously,
good
I was
doggo.
weeping just in the.
Well, even
this is doggy.
if I'm remembering correctly, doesn't Kratos just go sit like right after he realized what's happening? And the dog like listens to him and understands the command like that. They know
Yep.
it.
So good.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic scene.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had to get out. I had to like stand up and go give my wife a hug. And she's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" I'm like, "There's a sad part in my video game."
Yeah. There's a lot of that. For me, the spear. Did y'all know about the spear? Did y'all have that spoiled for you?
Oh, not at all.
I did not. I was very lucky to not have that spoiled for me. I knew that Brock died. I had that spoiled for me, unfortunately.
Oh.
That sucks.
But I didn't, and this is like spoiler alerts on the screen. This is crazy giga spoilers. I just want to put that out there. Okay. I was fucking shocked when Odin revealed himself to be Tyr. I had no earthly idea that was happening.
That one I actually like I had somebody try to spoil it, but they didn't succeed. And I basically got Tyr is actually
Oh.
so
Yep.
like
So you're sussy.
Yeah, like it was, and the thing is once you hear that, you don't know, you never know.
Right.
The thing is here's what's funny. I had that I'd already gotten through most of the game before that happened, and I swore that Tyr was with that team while Atreus was doing things with Odin, and I didn't piece together the fact that Tyr was separating himself from the party in his room, not being seen. So, like, I didn't think it was Odin, to put it bluntly. I was like, well, at one point I even remember thinking to myself, no, it can't be Odin because we're chilling with Odin here, and Tyr was just in that last scene, so it's not Odin. So, then when it turned out to be Odin, that was definitely surprising. I even mentioned in chat, I was like, but wasn't he with Atreus right then? And chat was like, nope, he was in his room, and they actually made a point to say that. I was like, well, shit.
Oh, they were incredible at how they wrote it. Like, did y'all go and watch all of the scenes where you can see that it's like where they quote unquote show you that it's Odin?
I will say that
was there like a YouTube video or
I was
something?
suspect early.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that Tyr does are incredibly suspect. Like it's definitely a 2020 hindsight thing, but there are many, many times where what Tyr does not make sense, or the way he reacts to situations doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If you think about it from the perspective of him, like, why would he be acting like that? It only makes sense if it was because he was Odin.
Yeah.
So, well, the thing is, like, I can usually, like, if I know it's a mystery, then I can usually piece it together. Like, a lot of times I'll piece it together before it happens. I didn't know it was a mystery to solve. All I saw in Tyr was a man who was like Kratos, who spent his entire life as a god of war and didn't want anything to do with it anymore. Like, I totally bought that shit hook, line, and sinker. I thought it was a theme that they were playing on, like, showing Kratos, like, like just the
broken
similarities.
Man. He was a broken man
between, like,
have the redemption.
Fucking, like, I don't want anything. I don't want to pick up a sword. I don't want anything to do with violence or war or any of it. You can all have it. and I fucking bought it. And when they revealed it, I was super surprised. I was like, oh,
Well, it
shit,
comes
did
out of
not see it
nowhere
coming.
too, because Brock is like giving him shit, and you're like, oh, Brock's just being Brock, like he's being the hard ass Brock, and then it goes from literally 0 to 100 like that, and then you're like, oh shit, that's it. And he just, oh fucking Christ, okay, this is happening, this is where we're at.
You guys both find the real tier, by the way?
I know where he's at. I haven't had the conversation yet. I'm saving it for like when I wrap up. But I know where he's at. I saw a clip of that, and that he exists.
What'd you say?
Did you find the real tier?
Me? Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I found him, Cohh. I didn't have the second part of the conversation yet. If that makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah.
The prison.
Yes.
Yeah, I went to the prison.
Yeah, the actual prison, the real prison.
That was really cool to find out, like, why is Odin keeping all these like randos?
Yes.
Like, these just fucking random like people prison. They're not even like higher ups, and then you find tier, and it all just sinks in. Like, this is how he infiltrates. And you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
That's dope. I loved it.
So there's a video, I think I saw like a TikTok of it, but you can go and find all of those NPCs where he's actually using them in the story. Like you see them at points and can pinpoint that it's Odin. Yeah. One of them is when you're first riding into Svartalheim in the city, and Nidavellir.
All the dwarves are like suspicious of you.
Yeah. Yeah. On the bridge, you can see a dwarf in the center, and there's he's walking to the left, and that's Odin. And
how do you know it's him?
I saw the developers say that it's him. There's probably some tell. But yeah, it's like very apparent that he's him. Apparently.
God damn, I need to watch a video about that now, because that's
that's
really
the guy that spit
cool.
you. That's the guy that he spits at you. That's what it is. He spits at you.
What a dick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So all that stuff is there. Then you see that NPC's body in the prison at the end, and so that's the connection. But the fact they like put all that and hid that kind of like so in front of your face is kind of cool.
Awesome.
It's like pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm curious what you guys think about Freyr's ultimate demise at the end, because I thought it was kind of ridiculous and stupid.
Seemed unnecessary.
I was just like, bro, jump in the fucking portal. Like, what are you? That thing is a sentient weapon. Just keep it spinning and walk 10 feet.
Yeah.
It was kind of silly.
Don't worry, I'll hold him off. I could reach out and touch the portal though. Like, maybe I should go. I don't know. Yeah. No, he died for the plot. Yeah, good point.
Well, he died for the actual like Ragnarok story, right? Like that's in the traditional mythology, he dies.
Oh, is it?
I think that's why that happened. But
okay.
It could have made his death cooler.
Yeah, they totally could have made his death cool. He was such a fun character.
Underwhelming.
And for him to be like, I can't move 10 feet. Like, kind of pissed me off.
You know what I was kind of disappointed about?
Use the bathroom. I'll be back.
Okay.
You know what I was kind of disappointed about was the way they just kind of like off camera, like, yes, I united the elves. Yes, I got the army of the dead. Yes, I got all these people. Like, and they didn't even like. That's interesting shit.
It was like a wrap it up moment.
Fucking glossed over it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I agree. I felt like they made that decision because they didn't want the end to like drag on, and they wanted to just like get right to it, type deal.
Sure, but this like millennia long, like whatever, however many winters it was that the dark elves and the light elves were fighting. And then just like, okay, we'll go. And like,
well, they do make the specific call out. Like, it's not that they are at peace. It's that they found like a common enemy.
No, I know that, but I wanted to see that brokered, you know, I wanted to see like, you know, them sharing a cup together or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. That was definitely kind of glossed over.
I would even have taken a montage. Just give me a montage before Ragnarok happens.
Well, yeah.
You know, before the final assault.
Yeah. Did you know you were going to play Atreus in the story? I didn't. I was kind of shocked when you like walk outside and then the camera pans to Atreus when he like goes through the window and then you start playing as him. Like he just stops moving and you You begin playing as Atreus and not Kratos.
Oh, I see. You mean like you're like that's the character you're playing, not just a helper.
Yeah.
Did I know that? No. But thinking back on it, I gotta say, like, I wasn't like I didn't know I was gonna do it, but I wasn't super like
Shocked.
surprised. Yeah. I don't know why. Like it felt natural. It felt like, yeah, of course I'm gonna play Atreus like a couple of times because he's not just a child anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what they were kind of trying to show with that.
I don't. Yeah, that I didn't even remember. You don't play him at all in the first one, do you?
No.
Wow.
And there's no other companions as well in the first one.
I think I forgot. I think I must have forgotten. Like of course I'm playing Atreus. I played Atreus in the first one. It just glide just like over my mind. I didn't even think that. Like, no, you didn't play him at all in the first one.
Yeah,
there was no arrows.
that
you were shooting yourself.
I thought he played fine in terms of Atreus. I don't this part of the story where you go and fight like Angerboda's grandmother and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. That I felt it was kind of long. Like by the end of that, I was like, all right, I want to play Kratos again. Like I'm tired of playing as the boy.
That's a big same. That's a 10-4 on that one.
Yeah. It went a little long.
I sat there as I was going through it, on the back of that fucking ox or whatever. Yeah. And I was sitting there going like, am I cynical for not liking this? Should I be enjoying this more than I am?
Yeah.
Because you threw this like weird teenage romance-ish thing in the middle of my fucking God of War action game. And I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah, it did drag a little bit.
If the payoff for playing this part is immediately after you have an incredible fight with a Valkyrie that's then later to be revealed after the fight Freya, then I'm all for it. Because that fight was probably one of my favorites in the main story. Because it's like that actress portrayed anger so well and so like really awesomely that it made that fight so much better because of how like furious she was during it. And you don't even know it's her. You just think it's a Valkyrie. Right? Like it doesn't, they don't reveal that it's Freya until halfway through the fight. And you're like, holy shit. Like, goddamn, this went places. I thought it was awesome.
And also like there's a payoff. You get to see Jormungandr.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. The world snake.
Yeah.
And that kind of shit. That was pretty cool. I also like, said it before, I'll say it again. I'm a sucker for big monsters and you get to fight grandma. And that was pretty fun.
That was a fun fight. Yeah. It felt.
I had to do that one a few times.
It also that fight for whatever reason, maybe because it was more like fairy tale-ish. I felt that was very much like the older God of Wars. Like it just felt more akin to like the original God of War games for me.
Sure.
For whatever reason.
I can see that.
And it was fun. I liked how I liked how that fight went. I liked that it wasn't It was gimmicky in all the positive ways of the word with that one. So enjoyed that aspect of it. Trying to think of like other big moments that I enjoyed. Is there anything for you that sticks out that we haven't mentioned yet?
We haven't even talked about Thor.
Oh God, what a god.
Thor is definitely up there for my favorite character in the game. He's in the running.
Yeah.
Fucking loved him, dude. And the fucking I swear to God, I was like, oh my God, they got Josh Brolin? Because he sounds so similar to me, like in those really quiet moments.
Yeah.
He sounds very Josh Brolin-y. And I was like, holy shit. But obviously it's not him. But
right.
Just the way his voice acting and the timbre of his voice, the subtleties of God, he's just so well done. And I'm gonna go like I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this.
Uh-oh.
I don't think Richard Schiff was a good choice for Odin.
I
don't think he was a good choice for Odin. He was too West Wing. He was too like.
He was very West Wing.
He didn't have enough power. Well, I'm not saying his voice in and of itself, but I'm saying the way he said his lines, it didn't feel like it had the gravitas that I think Odin deserves.
I mean, I'll go further, Zeke. I'll step in front of the bullet for you. I thought Odin was a shitty boss. I thought like he just
Now
like
that's yeah, I would agree with
I
that.
I didn't for him to be like the quote unquote big bad. I thought it kind of sucked. Like the fight sucked. The like the reasons for it kind of sucked. Of all that stuff, like for him to be the final boss of the game, I don't consider him the final boss of the game. I consider all the fights you do in the post game the final boss of the game, right? Like that's. I thought it was kind of. I don't want to say a letdown, but
I was waiting for another phase.
Yeah,
Something like that. Something to happen. Something like a fight in the clouds with the fucking, lightning and thunder. Some more Final Fantasy, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't. We're talking about Odin and how we kind of didn't think he was that great of a big bad at the end. At least our takes on it are. I don't know if you agree or disagree with him just being like kind of a letdown of a fight and like story wise was kind of a letdown as well.
In some ways, yeah, I would agree with that. I liked how.
Do you like the performance as well of Richard Schiff?
I like the performance because I like Richard.
Yeah,
I think that he was an interesting decision when they decided to go with him. I think in a lot of ways they picked his archetype just from the casting alone. So they wanted somebody who was much more mentally manipulative than physically manipulative, if that makes sense. Like something like mind games kind of thing. And I think that kind of came through. But at the same time, I think that Odin has always been that kind of stuff. Like the most, I'm not by any means a huge Norse mythology buff, but he is an incredibly mentally manipulative, like just being. So I think it was kind of a cool decision. I do think I like it. I think that I definitely like Richard Schiff's portrayal of Odin more than I would like some big burly musclehead Odin. Like a Thor style Odin that was physically imposing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, overall, I did like it. I thought that it was overall it was good. So, and I feel like somebody in the chat said so it was a cliche. I feel like the cliche would have been if they would have been gone with a giant thunderbolt wielding giant gray beard with the flowing gray mane. I think that's the cliche of Odin.
Right.
Like a Final Fantasy summon.
Exactly. Yes. So I kind of like that he's like this scrawny guy. They actually lost, he's wearing an eye patch. He looks very unassuming. I think that plays into throughout the game having the player be like, maybe he's gonna do what he says for Atreus. Like maybe he's not the worst guy. I think it kind of plays into that kind of stuff. So
sure,
it makes the reveal when he's Tyr a lot more meaningful. Sorry, Zeke, go ahead.
No, that's right. I think my biggest problem with Odin, I think it's not Richard Schiff's necessarily his portrayal, but I think they gave him too much leeway to maybe play with the lines or something like that, or they didn't write the lines in a way because there are certain anachronistic moments, meaning like they like speech out of time. Like this is like a certain era, and there was modern speak that Odin would say, like modern turns of phrase and colloquialisms and shit like that. It just didn't fit. It didn't match, and I think that it took the power away from it, and it was like it works for like the genie in Aladdin, because when the genie in the Disney movie Aladdin, Robin Williams comes out, he does all that shit. He becomes Sullivan from the Sullivan Show, which is way 100 years down the future.
Yeah,
stuff like that. It works for that because it's goofy and shit like that. But that's what I'm saying. It made it kind of goofy. Like,
sure,
you wouldn't talk like that. Thor speaks appropriately for the setting. Odin mostly, but sometimes it just kind of like, ugh. Like
somebody actually,
it's very like New Yorky.
Hilarious you say that. Somebody just reminded me in chat that I actually said a couple times during the run that Odin felt like a mob boss.
Yeah,
felt like a New York mob boss. Like he was.
It was definitely
like,
a mob.
What do you like? What do you do? Maybe something's gonna bad happen to you if you don't do this thing I'm asking. Kind of very. Yeah.
And John the GG from your chat said Zeke had issues with stuff like my ex. Like,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
no one
that's
would
weird.
say that in like this kind of setting, I don't think. Like it didn't feel right to
agree.
me.
Yeah.
As fucking Hannibal Lecter would say, it was like, tastes false, right? Like sucking on a greasy coin. Like that's what it felt like to me. Like it was like, that's not right.
Right. I agree. And I also I didn't think the final fight was great. I thought the Thor fight was better than the final fight with Odin by a large percentage.
It was far more emotional too. I love it when they can put that emotion into a fight.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Absolutely.
It does lose a little bit of the flavor if you're on, give me
The
God of War
hardest
difficulty and you have to hear it
You got to hear it a lot.
every fucking time. Like there are certain lines, get on the Hydra's back, that I am just sick of hearing. I never want to hear anyone say those sentences ever again.
Right. No, I agree. I agree.
I feel like they could have played a much more emotional card with shapeshifting in the last fight. I think that could have been a lot more interesting instead of it just being like
yeah,
straight up, like basically like traditional end game boss fight, multi-phase, like
yeah, I agree with
that
that
could have been
too.
interesting.
I think also it so much for me, even though completely different generation and completely different games, I was so like I guess self-hyped. I kept making like mental callbacks. I didn't say really anything on stream about it, but I kept constantly thinking about the Zeus fight from God of War 3 and like how just incredible that was. And I was thinking like, oh, they're gonna do something on that level. They're gonna make it like that fucking epic. And it didn't hit it for me. And that's a me thing. That's not necessarily a game thing. But that fight for me was always like a fantastic final fight in terms of how they handled that in God of War 3. What else was there? God, there's so much to talk about in this. We can kind of stick with the Odin Thor love or hate. Up for best scenes in the entire game was the initial conversation in the house when Thor walks in and then Odin shows up and then the Thor fight starts and you're just like, holy fuck, this game is not fucking around. This game is like balls to the wall. I'm in the goddamn air right now. There's a hammer on Kratos' chest and we're in a completely different part of the world right now in a matter of seconds. It was an incredible opening and it really, in a lot of ways, like set the stage for the game and set like what's possible and how they can handle that stuff. Incredible scene for me, up there with one of the best throughout the entire scene or throughout the entire game. And the boss fight with Thor right there was awesome too. That was great.
Oh, I messaged the Drop Frames chat when I was like, I started God of War and I after I got done playing for the whatever couple hours I did, I messaged him and I was like, I was crying in the first 5 minutes. The first 5 goddamn minutes of the game, they're gonna throw that shit at me, and I'm just like, I'm a sucker for puppies, man. Sucker.
Yeah. It was pretty emotional right out of the gate. They don't pull any punches. Also, the fact you fight a bear, and then it's your son. That was also a big reveal. I thought that was awesome. The first like really 90 minutes of the game or 2 hours of the game are incredible. Like on all aspects of it, they really nailed all those fights and all those character moments and all those reveals. It was just great.
Oh, and now it's just because we're still on this scene. Still on this scene.
Yeah, I mean it'll go for another hour probably.
Yeah. But her helper power was super cool. I wanted more of that later.
Yeah.
You get
with the magic or with the
powder.
Yeah, the powder stuff. Yeah,
that was awesome. I dug it. And you get to use it in this section, and that's it. And I was like, I was honestly like, oh, good, we're gonna see that later. You do not see that later. Like, God damn it.
She was definitely a cooler companion. I think from gameplay perspective, not necessarily lore perspective, I think Freya's the favorite for me, companion wise. I loved all of her like abilities and all the things that you can get for her to unlock. She felt
her poison stuff was awesome.
Yeah, it felt like you had a fucking Valkyrie fighting next to you. Like there were so many times where there was almost like an instant kill ability where it would like pop up R2 and then she would come just like swinging across the map and just completely decimate someone. It's like, fuck yeah, that feels great. Instead of just arrows constantly being shot. Like she got in there and ripped some people in half. That being said, she was also very backseaty. And the majority of the backseating falls to her because I feel like you play the most with her if you 100% the game. And so you just have to hear her like, Kratos, dodge, Kratos, parry that. You should use your shield, Kratos. Just nonstop. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely the worst part of the game.
I honestly, I'd have to, for mechanics only sake, I would have to say Boy was my favorite because I used a lot of his abilities to enhance the runic shit. He would do the birds in particular would like fly through and like, and then you just like, pepper them with whatever runics you had up and shit like that. And that worked pretty well for me throughout the game. But I will say, like, why the fuck didn't they let him wolf out with you as a companion?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Let him wolf or bear out or something. Like, he stays Boy the whole time, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, there's the fight with the Valkyries in Niflheim, or maybe it's where Niflheim and Muspelheim meet in like space, where you fight the twin Valk. And he turns into the bear at the end. And probably the campiest, but also maybe most badass scene is when you like rip the two of them in half and then Kratos is in the front with the bear behind him. You're like, all right, that's pretty fucking cool. But also that's pretty silly. But also it's like, that works for me. I'm into this. I'm into what's happening. That fight, by the way, was the one fight that tilted me the most, was the twin Valks, because of how like magnetic it was when she would fly at you.
Dude, the rubber banding on some of those fucking fights drove me insane. And I'm not just the Valks, but you haven't done a few of the Berserker fights.
Oh, I'm sure
a
it's
few
the
of those
same.
Fucking Berserker fights, they're like zip, boom, and you're like, motherfucker, I was 20 feet away from you.
I had a Valk in that fight. I'm right here. She's right here. She's up in the air. She flies at me. I dodge to the left. I'm fucking standing to the left, a pretty much 90-degree angle. This son of a bitch turns and goes 90 degrees right towards me. And I'm just like, come on, dude. What is this shit?
God damn, man.
And then she goes, submit. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna throw this controller.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna submit.
Yeah.
You're gonna do exactly what she asked,
and I
because
submitted.
she's going to make you do it.
But that controller almost hit the wall.
Wait till you hit the last Valk fight. The last fight
I'm
game
sure.
for me.
Yeah.
Submit is a word that you will fucking
great.
loathe even harder.
Fantastic.
And there is definitely that too, because I can't tell you how many times, like, I bet my lady out in the living room, she's on her computer, and she can hear this. I was so far away from you! How the fuck did you even get? I dodged that with plenty of time!
Yep. I also had issues with the lock-on throughout the entire game. Like, so much of just my frustration was because I was gripping the controller so tight and I would push in on a stick or something, or the game I would like go to throw. Let me find the footage of it. I'd go to like throw a weapon and it would target a completely different someone else that I wasn't
targeting system.
And I was getting and people were like, just unbind it. It's like, no, because it's useful. Like it's a useful system when it needs to be useful. Otherwise it just like fucks me. Like just constantly. I was very frustrated by that a lot.
I loved every time that any character that could jump over you or fly over top of you and land on your other side, you're just like, well, I guess they're gone forever now. I'm just gonna sit here and look this way.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I tried using the flip back thing, but I was hitting it so accidentally so often that I had to unbind it. And so I didn't use the like flip 180 after a while. What enemy archetype was the worst for you? For both of you? Was it the whites? Was it the little small tiny guys that explode you and one shot you on the hardest difficulty because they're impossible to fucking see unless they're moving at Mach 10?
I do hate those.
Yeah.
I gotta say, oh, small F. But I gotta say, I had one rift fight that rated up there as one of the hardest fights in the game because I couldn't. I probably should have gone back later when I had more power. But it was those fucking dark elves again, throwing those fucking dark bombs and hitting you with that shit. I hated those guys.
Well, losing the ability to see is such an annoying thing.
Such a cheap mechanic, man. Oh God, that made me so mad.
Especially with how many long range moves those characters have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they also just hover, right? They just sit back and like throw the bombs on the ground. Yeah. You're not wrong about that. I'm trying to think.
I had a lot of problems with the oh God, they would do this because I could never get the fucking timing down. Their little creature, like their little like fat little lizardy creatures with their and they crawl up and then they would do this flip and then it would hit you.
Yeah.
You'd see the yellow circle so early.
Some of those are so misleading.
Ching, 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 and then plow. And you're like, motherfucking hit me. Yeah. You're gonna say you're gonna hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those yellow circles and red circles and stuff, like the fact that the timing is different for every enemy, like when they give you the red circle to let you know something's gonna happen. God damn, I'm so like I wish they would just be like red circle, then attack, rather than red circle. Wait for it. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Smash. And you're just like, I've blocked 5 times since then. That should count. Or I've rolled 5 times since then.
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else gave me struggle. The wyverns were kind of a pain in the ass when they would do that long go in attack and then grab you type deal or start like biting you. I generally didn't like anytime I had to spam a button to get out of something because it was such a like departure from the normal gameplay of fighting for me that if I had to go and spam that, honestly, my hands were like cramping. Because I would have to go and like press circle so you don't die real quick. Because if you do it fast enough, you really won't take damage from it. And this is all hardest difficulty stuff, which I think we all played. You can't take damage from there, or like you're gonna die. You can't really take that many hits at all in the game, or you're gonna die. And maybe that's the next question for you guys. What were you guys like utilizing gameplay wise? What armor were you using? Like what weapons did you tend to go to? Like how was all that? For me, I went Lunda armor, and I tried to fight as many fights barehanded as possible with the poison stuff. And I found pretty good success with that. Yeah. When I didn't find success, it's because I was fighting multiple mobs at one time with poison. And that was very hard.
Dude, the poison, the melee does more melee damage.
Yeah.
Plus the Lunda set of armor, plus being poisoned and lowering their level, which was essentially the best skill that Freya had. So like basically you use Freya's skill, the cloud starts going around. Second, the enemy wants to get poisoned, you pound your extra melee damage. And then if you can, you hit the extra thing on your weapon to give you like the extra bit of damage if that's charged up. And oh my God, dude.
Lot of damage.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
I didn't use
poison enemy reduction was so good.
Yeah.
I didn't use for whatever reason it didn't jibe with me, but I didn't use a single like triangle. Like I didn't use any of those. I didn't use when you charge up your axe or
you were always quick attack guy, like square guy?
Yeah, I was always
R1 guy.
R1 R2s.
Yeah.
It was R1s with the axe and R2s with the spear because the spear goes real fast with R2. So those were my bread and butter. R1 with the axe, R2 with the spear, and then use up all the runics that I had for all of them. on a tough fight or whatever. But
Yeah.
like I didn't use like that entire left side of the axe tree. Like I had enough points to fill it up, and I never did because I never used it. Maybe it's because of the difficulty level, but it never felt like I had time to charge anything.
Yeah.
Like fuck. Like it's like, hey, if you hold triangle and you charge the thing, and I was just like, not happening, bro. Like
I gotta dodge.
I have no time. It was like, if you like, if you like swing once with your axe, wait a second, and then you can throw it in the. It's like, did you just say wait a second? Also not happening, bro. Like I am not waiting any seconds for this shit to happen. I am either swinging my axe or rolling or putting up my shield, and that's all.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I did throw my weapon probably more than I fought in melee, specifically with Kratos. Like you unlock the like quick charge thing for the axe throw, and I had stun on that is like the gold level unlock or whatever. And so I would just sit back in the back of the room and just fucking constantly chuck the axe just nonstop. And I found like pretty good success with that until it got to a boss fight. But just the general fights, just fucking constantly throwing that axe, and you get the quick charge for it, Zeke. So it's just he grabs it, goes,
Yeah, and
poof,
that's
and then just throws it again.
people were saying
Poof, throws
the
it.
quick charge for the axe. Like I didn't get used to pressing triangle in the first place, so
I rebounded.
It became a button. The only time I used triangle was to blow up the spear charges.
Got
I
it.
used that quite a bit.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't use any triangle shit. And there's so much stuff geared towards it. Did you find like 80% of the shit you got, like you were like, I'm never using that?
It was always the type of thing where it's like, oh, that's cool. Anyways.
Yeah.
Just like it. Yeah. But a lot of that stuff, I have seen a massive amount of builds in this game, and that's where that stuff comes into play, right? Like you can do so many different builds. There's a realm shift build, and so you do like massive amounts of damage when you have like a last second dodge or whatever. Yeah, that's very strong. There's the poison build, which I think both me and Cohh utilized. There's like a runic cooldown build, which apparently is very strong. We're just constantly spamming abilities. It's cool that there are like multiple ways to play and be successful on harder difficulties in the game. I like that it wasn't just like one deal set in stone. It's a good thing for build variety.
I find like when I had to look at it, like normally I would go with like my favorite set or what looked the coolest. But when I actually had to look at it with the 4 or 5 super tough fights in the game,
yeah,
defense was king for me.
Honestly. Yeah, you said you were saying before the show,
Skyborn or whatever,
the troll
rock
armor
troll set.
Yeah,
yep, a rock troll set all the way. All my amulet gems were all like defense will get you this, or based on your defense, you get this thing.
So how much defense were you rocking then? Do you know, like number wise? Were you in the like 700, 800 range?
No, I didn't get quite that high. I think I got to like 675 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So you were just able to take
strength,
more hits?
My strength was like not great, but I'll tell you this. It's like some of those fights are wars of attrition rather than, blitzkrieg,
Yeah.
You like have to last because they will fuck you up.
Yeah.
So like that's what I ended up doing for the last Valkyrie fight was like I just front loaded everything on D, and that was it, and I was able to outlast and barely scrape through. Like I told JP this before the show, like it was, I wish I had recorded it because it was like I missed a fucking yellow, and I went prang, and I was like, oh no, slivers of health left. Prang, and I was like, that is my death knell. I am fucked. And I was just spamming the X. I was like, roll. Barely just like swing comes down. It was like that Matrix, like barely missed me. And I just went swack. Felt so fucking good, man.
Yeah. God, some of to go back to outside of the harder fights, there's a lot of fights in this game, just in the base game, where you just, no matter what you were doing, when you finished it, you're like, I'm badass. Like, I'm badass. Like, I'm a fucking badass. I don't care what just happened. I don't care that I died 900 times on that fight.
great.
I'm
They
a
really do.
badass. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many of them that look great. I'm trying to think like what my favorite, you know, we didn't talk about him at all. How'd you guys like Heimdall as a character? Did you enjoy him?
What he was perfectly played as such a douche.
I thought he was
He's
great.
such a dick, but he's so good. Yeah, I loved it.
I
I loved
loved
it
it.
how he was played. That he was like this sycophantic follower of Odin doing whatever he says, like bootlick
Yeah.
of, you know, the higher up. And just like, I loved it. And he was just like the bully from every 80s movie. Is like, you little twerp, you're gonna fucking, I'm gonna kill you later. You know, like that kind of shit. I fucking loved it.
He's a great character, and it made his death so much more sweeter. Like when you kill him, and Kratos is like, oh fuck, well, there's so many things going for it. It's like, well, I'm fulfilling destiny. Oh fuck, am I becoming what I used to be? Like, oh god, I'm actually the person I don't want to be anymore. Like it was so much of an emotional outcome, as well as the fact that up until that point you have been told and trained to absolutely loathe that character.
I like this. Heimdall was the head of the ski patrol in the 80s.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
That is who Heimdall was.
Yeah. Without
You're gonna
question.
make it down Death Mountain, stand Darsh. Like,
Yeah. That for me was the most feel good like finisher.
Dude, and it made it so sweet when you finally like the dropping your spear, like he didn't know, and he was just so surprised. He's like, how am I losing? And you're just like, yeah, that's right, motherfucker. I saw a mermaid. She gave me a cool spear.
That spear's got my blood in it, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. I didn't see that one coming, did you, bitch?
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. That whole fight was awesome.
Speaking of the mermaid, that moment was really dope.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the moment between Brock and the mermaid. That was cool.
Yeah, for sure. I like that a lot. And I'm glad that was one of the things I didn't have spoiled for me. I completely thought you were going to play through this game with 2 weapons. And the fact they gave him a third weapon and like the
Funny
third
enough,
weapon's badass is awesome.
Somebody spoiled me by coming into the channel and say, has he gotten the spear yet?
Oh.
At the time, I wouldn't have even fathomed that it was a usable weapon.
Yeah.
So I thought he was asking like, did I get to a certain point of the game where I just found one of the, oh, here's the tip of the spear, puts it in my bag, never sees it again until I take it out to use it to open a mystical door. You know, like I had no clue it was an actual spear. So then I actually got the spear and I was like, oh, yeah. And the best part was when the guy said, has he gotten the spear yet? Chat like erupted with like, how are you gonna spoil that? Why would you ask this? And I'm sitting here like, chat, calm down, dude. It's just probably some random item. Like, Bill, it's okay. You didn't know. There's better ways to ask it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And then I actually got to that point and was like, oh God. Now I get it. Dude, this is amazing.
That moment when he was like, it's gotta have a blessing from a master blacksmith, and you know, Kratos was like,
yeah,
the blessing. Dude, I was just like,
yeah. It is it's remarkable that the little things like that, because of how good the line delivery and well the acting on all fronts, both physical and voice, was just the smallest moment was so fucking impactful so many times in the game, and I loved every time that happened. I was like, God, this is just incredible. So well done. And a lot of that hinges on Christopher Judge, right? Like he can. There's a reason why he won Best Performance of the Year.
I was going to say, it's almost like he deserves Best Performance.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like the nuance in his voice and the going from like one scene of just, you know, absolute peak Kratos to just like seeing him well up or sob or have a skip a break in the action it made the game. It was incredible.
Oh yeah. Brock's riddle.
Oh yeah. So I still don't know the answer to that. Cause I haven't seen, I would assume that gets like answered at the funeral, right? Yeah.
How have you not done that?
I'm saving that for the very, very end of the game, but I don't necessarily mind spoilers, like full spoilers for that.
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
No, I
that's
knew
my
that.
final
I knew
quest.
that riddle. I've heard that riddle before, so I knew right away.
Yeah.
But
Chad also answered it every time it got brought up, so I know the answer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but the way it gets relayed JP,
Oh, rough.
fantastic.
Okay, I'm
fantastic.
excited then. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's an excellent delivery.
Great. I'm excited for that.
Yep.
Do you guys like all the other side characters? I thought Thrud was incredible. I loved her. I loved all of the gods' designs. Her design was awesome. Sif with the fucking crazy hair was incredibly well designed. I kind of like also the like end story for them, how they aren't necessarily bad people and they're like helping you out on Vanaheim, I guess, after that. Thought that was great. The squirrel,
Yeah, I love the interaction with Radtask.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, he was great.
OZD really nailed it.
Brood was kind of meh for me. She's all right. Like the design. Now, don't get me wrong. The design, I love the, you know, the way they look, the hair, like you were saying, the hair was Sif, and
it
like
made
the
me be like
Thorish design for Thrud.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at all the gods. It's like, could I pull off some like blue Norse tattoo? Like, could I get like a sleeve? I don't think I could. I don't think I could do that.
Dude, I think if you shaved your head and painted yourself blue, like I could see you rocking it up.
Yeah,
dude.
just become full Brock. Okay, all right. You know, I'll consider.
It's so hot, my sack sweating.
He had a lot of great lines throughout
Great
the
lines,
entire game. Yeah, it was really good. Who else was there? Trying to you had the traveler, the guy on the boat who jumped off, and you got to go do the whole like.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah. Arguably the best zone in the game was that crater. I thought everything that happens in the crater is
It
fantastic.
was nutty.
Yeah, with all the dragons and all that stuff, I enjoyed all that.
all completely optional, too.
The traveler, like, it was such like he sacrificed himself. I just got to know the guy. Like, I don't have any emotional ties to this dude yet.
Yeah,
Like, I barely know him. They're like, he'll be greatly missed. Like, Willie, who was he?
yeah. There was a lot of. Well, there wasn't a lot. There were some things in the game that just completely confounded me. Stuff like that, stuff like Freyr's death, where it's just like, all right, sure, for lore purposes, they had to do it, but he could have walked 10 fucking feet to the side.
Lunda. I have to admit, I don't use the word very often. But when I heard Lunda speak for the first time, I cringed. I did. I was like,
yeah, it was just too much.
I didn't like it. It was just like, it not only was it kind of cliche for like, you know, the armor smith to have like or like, I don't know, maybe not cliche is the right word, but like it was just out of
Lunda's the Brock replacement for those asking for
yeah, Lunda's the
girl that
dwarf,
sounds like she's from
the
Borderlands.
female dwarf.
It was very much a
the one who-
Borderlands character.
blacksmith.
I got that exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's perfect. That's a perfect description. She was a
Yeah.
Borderlands character, and it didn't jibe well with me.
Yeah.
Because she was leaning on it so hard, and I'm like, does fucking Asgard have a South? Is there a Mississippi in fucking Asgard or some shit, or in the Nine Realms?
Asgard
Like,
is
what the
sippy.
fuck?
Asgard.
Well, and
Sippy.
also like the thing is, like, no one else speaks like that. Like if they made other dwarfs talk to you and talk like that, totally get it.
Yeah.
Like, where did she get her accent from?
It's kind of funny because she's so over the top in terms of like her humor and the stuff that she says. If you think about it when you meet her, then there's this part of you that can go, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be the Brock replacement.
Yeah.
Like this is the new comic relief.
Right.
Like, she's very similar to Brock. She's got similar mannerisms. She's always got something smart to say, like something to make you kind of do one of those things where you're not really laughing, but you're like, huh. You do that kind of, that kind of the laugh that's not a laugh. Huh. Oh, yeah.
True.
But like, yeah, and then fair enough, she's the new Brock. So.
Yeah, and the quest, it was cute to do the quest for Lunda's orb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You find out it was just the pig dog's fucking tennis ball or whatever.
Yeah. That was cool.
That was pretty cute. I like that. I like the pig dog too.
Yep. Side quest wise, what'd you guys?
Oh.
What was your favorite? Wow. What was your favorite side quest? You guys started saying
Thanks,
Southern.
JP.
My favorite side quest was you gonna get get a dang gum old thing over there. No, I'll go first. My favorite side quest, no question, was freeing the skyfish.
Jellyfish. Oh, I was gonna say the same thing.
That
Really?
was pretty
man.
badass.
That was not only was it badass, but like especially when you do it the very last time, and like there's that whole big thing where it's like, oh, now they have to spread the species and they have to mate and they're both gonna die, and it's like that was a very impactful side quest.
I did the second part of that with Freya. Did you guys do the second part of that quest with Atreus?
I don't.
Oh yeah, no, I switched.
Oh,
yeah, I had Atreus first,
because
and
the
then Freya
dialogue's
second.
different completely because it's different
is.
characters. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because she would say like, "Oh, is that a thing?" Blah blah blah. And I was like, and that reminded me like, "Oh, I brought a different companion for the first part of this."
Yeah, yeah. And so I think it was very good side quest. I thought the visuals on it were incredible. Those jellyfish were fucking awesome.
Speaking
It's also
another
so
moment-
meaningful when you do. Go ahead.
No, not full tears, but definitely choke up at the end when it's like they meet and then they explode or they make
They
all
die.
the new
Yeah.
jellyfish babies and they die and stuff. That I was like, I had a little double sniff like
Yeah.
It's one of those tragic things, man. I mean, they'd been trapped for who knows how long, and then they're out for like
Seconds.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
And the second they actually meet, they both die. It's like, oh, great.
Yay, look what we did, son. We did that. Yeah. Do you remember what you were going to say, Cohh?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say that it's also so cool in games when side quests and even doing the different stages of the quest have huge impacts, but when they can completely change the look and feel of a zone. So like all of a sudden, the first time you have this giant jellyfish going around, and then after the second quest, it's like all these little ones all over the place. Like the side quests in God of War 3 are Witcher 3 quality, which is saying a lot. Because unfortunately, side questing these days is boiled down to you just complete this little thing, get some experience, maybe an item, and you're done. But like they felt very impactful in God of War 3, which was great.
Yep.
Yeah, at no time did I feel like I was collecting 5 elk horns to bring back, and that was it.
No.
It felt like I would miss out if I didn't do every single one of these side quests, and I was not disappointed. Oh, also, did you guys when you got the poems, did you look at the titles and go like, and did you
You
get
got to figure the
all?
game out every time. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, there was some I had never heard of.
Really?
There was a concrete one that I never heard of before.
a
PS exclusive game that I'd never heard of before.
Yeah.
But it was cool to
I do not know what you're talking about.
The Cavassier poems.
Lore poems.
Yeah, they're about like PlayStation games.
Oh.
There's one where it's like a hulking behemoths of mechanical or of whatever, and it's like, oh, that's Horizon, that style stuff.
And the titles of the poems are the names of the games, but just different words.
Yeah.
Used.
Yeah.
The one I had, I felt the pang of like realization was MLB the show or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like,
because it described
I
a
know
baseball
it's a
game.
baseball game. But
Yeah.
What the fuck could it? Oh, I got it.
Yeah. There's one for Bloodborne. There's a bunch of them. I thought those were all good.
Interesting.
Stranding.
I did not catch those.
Did you see I think it's a side quest dialogue line. I forgot where they say it, Zeke, but there's a moment where they talk about who Cavassier or whoever was. I think Freya's talking about it. It's like, oh yeah, he was a crazy fucking drunk. Like all that stuff is meaningless type deal. But he said it as like, oh yeah, I visited these other worlds type deal.
Yeah. He was a realm traveler. He would travel to all these other realms outside of the 9 realms and stuff like that. Yeah. And everybody's like, no, he was a massive drunk and a liar.
He just made shit up. He was a buffoon.
But yeah, that's the little fourth wall, like winky.
Right.
Oh, Concrete Genie was the name of the game, and I never heard of it.
Huh. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I found them all. I don't remember figuring that one out either. Huh. What else? Anything else? I'm trying to think like other big moments. It's a game full of big moments. And
well,
I think about the ending nonstop. I really do.
what ended up being your main weapon? Like you're just the core weapon of the three.
For me,
Go to.
bare hand fist.
This. Oh,
Yeah.
4, I guess, if you do bare hand, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how did you do bare hand? Would you just like throw the axe in the ground or like
So I would start axe. I would do like runic axe, runic blades, runic spear, and then just press down on spear and pull out your fist.
Oh, right. I forgot. You know, that fucked me up. I forgot about that. Fucked me up a few times in the middle of a fight. Like I'm like trying to change the spear, like I'm spamming it. So when I finally get there, I have changed the spear and disarmed the spear. So I'm sitting there like, all right, change the spear. Pop, and I'm like, no.
There's a lot of that. I had to unbind. There's a I think it's in the axe skill tree where if you hold down R1 and you're barehanded, it'll pull the axe out. And I had to turn that skill off because I kept going barehanded and then pulling my axe out and like, no, I want to fucking fight barehanded so I can poison type deal. And that was like one of the biggest gripes I had until I turned it off, and then it was fine when it came to using the barehanded. But yeah, I primarily used barehanded. Primarily used barehanded and probably secondary the axe because the throw is just too good for me. I just love the throwing animation and gameplay aspect of all of it. What about you?
Axe for any like bunches of enemies, because I had a lot of like crowd control runics, like the spinning whirlwind and the spinny spin,
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So I would use the axe for those kind of situations. But any boss, dropping your spear, man. The R2 is super fast.
yeah. That's where he goes like up. He goes like high strike, down strike, middle strike type deal. Is that we were saying the R2
Yeah,
combo?
yep. That's the light attack is a pop, pop, pop,
Yeah.
and then a swipe or whatever, and then you can chain those together. But just pressing R2 is just a swipe, and another swipe,
Got it.
and that's it. But it's like it's the fastest R2 among them. That leaves you the least amount of openness for getting hit back, and also R2 like heavy attacks are more likely to like stagger, which was like key when fighting the fucking Valkyrie because you could stagger her a little bit every fucking once in a while.
Did you use the gem combo for when your defense is higher, it stuns more or whatever?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Did that really help a lot for stuns?
I kept an eye on that stun bar, just tick, big chunk. That's how I did it.
I might have to copy that because like I said, I haven't done the berserkers, I haven't done the Nah fight. I'm saving them for at some point because I do want to. I just had to put them on hold because I was like 60 hours in or something on stream and I had to play something else. But I'll go back to it. Cohh, what was your weapon of choice?
I really like the axe and then the spear when I got it.
Yeah.
Now we kind of switch between those. I'd use sometimes there were times when the I felt like the chains were the easiest weapon. But I kind of liked the axe better. Yeah, just the juggle and just the fact they're so fast and their animations are so easy to dodge out of, and like it definitely felt like the go-to weapon. I love the axe, man. It's so chunky and meaty, and the hold R2 is delicious, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
spear was awesome though. Spear was like best of both worlds. I loved the spear combo where you could like do hits, but also put spears into them and then detonate them, and it's a very cool weapon for sure.
That's great.
Yeah, once you get the runic attacks that can actually like cover them in spears, and then you get the charge slam where it detonates them better or more powerfully or whatever. That really, really good. And also, like if you get them at the right moment, bosses at the right moment, you can detonate spears and they'll stagger a little bit, and it gives you time to like get up on them again.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was all good though.
I did use the blades. Like I found myself using the blades like very specific times. The little wormy guys, that was blades all day.
To do like a swipe.
All day. Yep.
Or to throw them, to like spear them and throw them.
Yeah. The jumpy guys. The guys who jump on your back
little
or whatever.
gremlin motherfuckers.
That was a come here, come here, come here. And it was just like
I felt like what they did with the axe in terms of the animation in the first one, when you would throw it and it would come back to you and how good that felt. They did that with this game when it came to the blade and the chain. I sat there for probably, 20 minutes throughout the entire game, just like throwing the blades and then watching them come back to me and throwing them. Because like they nailed that chain animation to where it just felt good to do that. Just like it feels good to recall the axe back and throw it.
That axe sound when it hits your hand, that wood hitting your hand, that thump.
Go do the chain, man.
So
the
good.
chain, they nailed it. It's like there's the chain, the noise of like a chain being like lowered. I don't know. There's an addiction quality to it. I don't know if that's like my first step into ASMR or what, but it was great. I love that noise.
I remember when you were talking about the chain noise, when we were talking about best audio design for the Game Awards, and you're like, the chain, I was like, oh yeah. Didn't even register you're talking about the chain blades.
What, you thought I was thinking about the song?
No, not Fleetwood Mac. No, the awesome sound design of when you're climbing up the chain and down the chain. That little ching, 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 as you're climbing up.
Yeah.
One of those little tiny things I always liked, climbing up and down those chains. It didn't seem as much of a chore because the sound was so satisfying.
Right.
And then all the way down.
That's good.
Really
That's
good.
Part too. Good part. I think I don't know. Anything else, you guys? We kind of talked it for about an hour.
Oh,
change.
One thing I wanted to say.
I started to say.
Is there any way to turn on particle effects? Because that last Valkyrie fight is so sparky. So many fucking particles.
I don't know.
It's so hard to see what the fuck's going on sometimes. And I looked for it and I was like, this game won accessibility. I bet there's a particle thing. I didn't see it. And it really frustrated me because a lot of times you'd hear the attack like, I know what's happening. Where do I block?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done a fight yet, so I can't speak to if it was overwhelming for me or not. But
I don't know if it was just me or I was sitting too close to TV or something, but like, dude, that particle effect really fucked me up a lot of times. Like, I probably spent, since neither of you have done this, so I was gonna ask to compare times, but I think that fucker took me like 6 hours. Like,
that's what I've seen mostly from chat. Someone in my chat said it took him about 2 hours to learn and then about 3 hours to kill it. Like to get through all the stages.
Yeah.
For me, the fight she
was a tough old broad.
For me, the fight that I spent the most on so far has been the Raven fight.
Raven Mother?
Yeah, the Raven Mother. Because I tried to spin like the Raven Mother itself was fine. I could knock her HP bar off in like 20 seconds. Like the entire fight could have been done in 20 seconds. It's the fact that she spawns a billion fucking ads and then a goddamn dragon comes down. It's like, God, fuck, I don't want to fight this. I want to fight this stupid Raven Mother. Yeah. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sure God of War will come back up in our Game of the Year show in some facet. So I think we'll call it there. I think Cohh's about to pass out on stream. So
to be fair, I fell asleep about an hour ago. We're good.
Thoughts on the mask and portal plot? Oh, the thing. I thought it was cool. That's the way they explained Odin's eye.
Yeah.
But
like I'm sad it never went anywhere.
Yeah, it never went anywhere.
I was kind of sad about that. I hope maybe like they've announced that Kratos' story is done.
Yeah.
So we're not going to see a God of War, etc. with Kratos as the lead. But I mean, I think they purposefully said it in that kind of fashion to say that maybe we'll see something with Atreus. Maybe we'll see something, with Loki or something down the road. So it would be interesting to see that kind of come back and how that's going to affect everything and, all that kind of stuff. How crazy would it be if in the next God of War game, Kratos is the sidekick to Atreus? So your main character is Atreus, and then you're like hitting square and holding square to have Kratos do stuff in the fights.
It would be crazy if they could pull that off to where I'm not thinking, God, I wish I was playing Kratos right now. Like that would be the feat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, they made Atreus pretty fun to play with, but there's no question that in those scenes I was kind of like, "Oh, is Kratos coming up? Can we go back?" Like,
dude,
it's fun and everything, but it's like
when you were AFK, I said the exact same thing with the whole like Anger Boda thing. I was like, "This is great, cool." And then they
Yeah.
rewarded you because when you finish that whole thing, you fight Freya, and arguably one of the coolest fights as Kratos. They just throw you straight into it. So, yeah, thought it was good.
They need to, if they're gonna make Atreus the main, they got to get him some cool weapons and stuff, some dual swords or something nutty. Like maybe where Kratos is like the big, the big single axe, single spear. I mean, granted the chain blades, of course, but having a more agile Kratos could be a lot of fun. Like, really cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. All right.
Oh, wait. Somebody said they didn't say that Kratos' story was done. They said the Norse story is done. Really?
Yeah.
Was that the wording they used? So no more. We're not going to hear anything else about Loki or anything.
Well, I mean, a lot of them are dead.
Ragnarok did kind of happen. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. All the big names are kind of toast. So,
do you think Loki could go to other realms? Like
he's got a dog that can whip him there, right? Like
no, not like those are different realms in the Norse god. But I mean, do we know exactly how Kratos came to the Norse realm? Did they touch on that at all, or was it just all?
I think they just
Not
say
really,
he traveled there, right? Like they don't really give a specific on how it happened.
So I wonder if they could take Atreus like a different pantheon.
Let me ask you guys this: do you want to play another God of War game like that?
Yes.
You do?
I would love this game in another pantheon. Absolutely. Egyptian or Indian or like there's so many cool ones. Like Indian lore is amazing. Egyptian lore is amazing. Chinese lore is amazing. Japanese lore is crazy. When we were talking about this in chat, somebody was like, "Yeah, but what about like Catholicism?" I was like, "What? You want to fight a guy with a gray beard and a coat? Like, what are you gonna fight Jesus and he's just gonna like parry you the whole time and turn his cheeks? Like really? Come on, man." Like, I
the issue with Catholicism is there's only one God.
Yeah. Can't do it.
Do the I want to see the Jewish God of War where like Abraham comes out, he's like, "What with all the fighting? No, he didn't have
they
it.
just get Richard Schiff
I schlepped
again.
myself all the way here. I'm not fighting anybody."
Yeah, just have Richard Schiff back. It'll be great.
Yeah, exactly. Just have him reprise.
No, I think that considering there are some religions out there that are just like perfect for this framework of game in terms
Egyptian
of like odds they offer. Oh yeah.
Egyptian would be incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
No, you could do Christian with like if they were angels. Like angels as gods.
You could actually, especially if you wanted to go biblical,
Michael, Gabriel,
like you wanted to get
Lucifer,
hardcore biblical, and gave them each like their own
God of War Revelations.
Writes itself.
Oh man,
just fighting a bunch of like.
Well, and to be fair, if they brought
Bayonetta monsters
into it, they brought the underworld with all the different demons and stuff that they have in there, and all the different levels of hell, and it could be kind of cool. Maybe.
There you go.
But anyway. Who knows though? At this point, like nobody knows. I will say that it really felt like they were setting up for another game at the end of God of War. So I do hope that we see more of it. Like it very much felt like they were hinting at something larger and bigger coming. But it could have been that they were just like giving some finality to Kratos or to Atreus leaving the nest, which I think was a big point of contention throughout the whole game of Kratos letting Atreus go. So maybe that was the whole thing, but there were still so many unanswered questions. I feel like there definitely could be more.
The thing I would be most worried about is the Atreus parts were fine, but I was always excited to go back to Kratos. Not just his combat. Like his combat style. Like I didn't mind the story of either, but like the combat style, it's just so heavy and just
it's fucking
brutal
incredible.
And wonderful.
Can I just say how hilarious this part is in the game, by the way?
Why hilarious?
Where what is it? Needhogg comes out and fights these guys.
Yeah.
And then like Needhogg's finally like, okay, screw it, I'm out. And Kratos like grabs the tail. It's like, oh no, you are, and like pulls Needhogg back in, and then murders him. And then we get back, and the squirrel's like, so if you guys see like Needhogg anywhere, this any idea where?
Yeah, Kratos is like,
yeah, we had to do
that. And it's like, bro, he was leaving. Like he was out the door. He was not coming back. Like you beat him.
Yeah,
and
but okay,
you pulled his ass back in.
Okay, fair enough though. He had to die because he was tied to the roots that were.
He came out
Odin made
the
it
roots.
so the roots were protecting Freya's original identity. So
Yes.
Nidhogg would always protect those no matter what, and the only way you could free Freya's from her
Wait,
imprisonment was to
No.
do the roots.
Nidhogg would protect the roots, which is why the roots were there. Then Nidhogg came out and got his ass kicked and was like, all right, y'all can have it. I'm leaving. And then he was like, oh, no, you aren't, and pulled him out and killed him. I think at that point, if he was fleeing, if they would have chopped the roots up, he wouldn't have come back like, haha, round 2. I think he was leaving. He was trying to flee.
Maybe.
He's not going to protect the roots he was fleeing from.
Yeah. I thought that fight was awesome as well.
Maybe he has a magical kind of protection.
Nidhogg is
the
a
only
lady,
way
I'm
you
sorry. Nidhogg
can
is a
kill
lady.
the roots is killing Nidhogg first.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's a leap.
Unacceptable.
I'm trying to think, was there a bad fight in this game? Apart from maybe like the Odin fight, which was still good. It just wasn't for me on the level of everything else in the game. Like I don't think I had a bad time ever playing the game. The Berserkers, even with the Berserkers, I'm still enjoying them.
No,
It's just
they're
hard.
they're challenging, but they're great. I don't mind them at all. I'm trying to think if there was a fight that I thought like I came away from the fight going, that was bullshit.
The purple orb guy fights. Once you get the spear,
feel like there was
they're
one
fine.
or two fights when I was like, okay, that's just bullshit. I can't remember exactly which they were, so I guess they weren't that bad.
I thought about that during the double Valkyrie fight, but once I beat it, I was like, all right, I was just being a bitch. That was fine.
Yeah.
Auto aim was the hardest fight, right?
Right? Yeah, I would agree with that. There were no trolls. Oh no, there's trolls in the game. If you want to fight them, you just have to figure out how.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were also fun. Yeah.
Noon fortune teller dream fight.
The noon fortune teller dream fight.
Now they're just making up words.
Yeah, I don't know what that
I
is.
wonder if they're talking about a different game or something.
The Berserker fight with 3 is bad. Yeah, I've heard some issues with that. I haven't done it yet, but the Norn? There's a Norn fight? I thought you just go and talk to the Norn.
Remind me what the Norn are again.
The Norn are the prophecy
New-
people.
Oh, the prophet. Yeah, the
Tellers?
fates. Yeah.
Yeah, the Fates, yeah.
I don't think you fight them.
Is there a fight before it?
Oh, there's a fake fight.
Oh, the fake fight with them with the ghosts and stuff. That wasn't
That was fine.
bad. Yeah.
No, someone said it. I think the most annoying fight, like the one that I thought it wasn't all like 100% bullshit, but some of the Draugr fights, the
Hateful guys?
pits,
The
the hateful
hatefuls.
guys. I fucking absolutely hated the fact that they could just
Explode.
charge that fucking thing up
You
like
can
immediately, and then you hit them, and,
Yeah.
and you're just like, God damn it! You don't give me any fucking warning. I'm in melee range. Are you saying I gotta fucking fight this range the whole time? I hate you.
Yeah. I fought that range the whole time, so I was just constantly throwing my axe once they got below like half health. And it worked fine.
But yeah, the annoying fights, triple berserker, poison berserker. That guy.
Haven't fought him yet.
Motherfucker, that guy. Oh, I changed my mind. I know the most annoying enemies, but they have to be like amongst other enemies. But when they're mixed in, is those fucking flying eyeball guys that throw poison at you or whatever?
Nightmares.
Yeah. And then
The nightmares.
like run at you. Yeah.
Because you're
Oh, yeah.
like fighting this thing, and it's like, Kratos, look bow!
Oh,
And you're like getting
All
hit
right.
by this fucking point. And then they like, oh, you hit me enough, I'm coming to get you. And you're just like, God damn you.
I found it. Worst fight in the game for me is that I've done thus far, which is everything except for the Berserkers, was the Bifrost fight where there's 10 of them to do. It's in Vanaheim, and it's only the heavy guys, and there's like 6 heavy guys in a row, and you're fighting like 4 or 5 at a time. And
It's like a realm shift close or something? Or
yeah, like it's one of the Bifrost fights.
I mean, okay.
Where there's 10 of them, and you have to go and like close all the Bifrost fights. I don't know what they're fucking called. Anyways, fight was I hated it. I hated every aspect of it. And then I found out that you can just take them over by the river and hit them once up in the air, and they just fall into the river, and you're good. Like, then it's not a hard thing at all. Yeah, the Remnants of Asgard. It's that subquest where you go around and fight in all the realms, the remnants of
Oh my
Asgard.
god,
stuff.
yes, that's the first fucking one I found, and that one took me for fucking ever.
Yeah, I just knocked them into the
Oh,
water, and I was like,
God.
we're good.
Ugh.
All right, we need to wrap up because we
Yep.
somehow filled for 3 hours. And I told Cohh, yeah, we'll just do 90 minutes, bro. You're good. And then we didn't even take a break. That's it. Our spoiler cast is done. I'm sure we'll talk about the game at length and more stuff. Potentially our Game of the Year show. Zeke, some shout outs.
You betcha. What up, everybody? My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at or /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, or Ezekiel the Third, all spelled out, on Instagram and TikTok. And that's all, because everybody just kind of seemed to forget about Hive. So, they did. It's just like it was a hype thing for about 2 weeks, and then now it's gone. I don't hear anything about it. Anyways, I broadcast 10 a.m. Pacific most every day. Tomorrow is the exception where I play my role-playing game, The 100 Club, which starts at 1 p.m. Pacific. And then on Tuesday, I'll be back to Metal Gear Solid 1? Question mark? What? But I'm in the middle of 4. How could that be? Well, come find out, because I don't know either. That's what I'm doing. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. Cohh, some shout outs.
Yep. My name is Cohh. I could be playing all sorts of stuff next week. We got Crisis Core and, well, just all sorts of games. Maybe check out Choo Charles, maybe a little bit more Rogue Trader, maybe some more Dwarf Fortress. I don't know. We'll have to see. Stop by the channel and check. As always, thanks for watching.
Awesome stuff. Cohh, thanks for sticking it out. I know you were sick. I appreciate it. Hopefully everything clears up soon and you get better faster. And Zeke, as always, thanks for being here. I'm doing a Marvel Snap sponsored stream in about a minute, so I'm going to be late for that. Sorry, Marvel Snap. We'll go over it. It's fine. Tomorrow we got MCU Crew. We'll be probably returning to Marvel Midnight Suns after that and put some more hours into that game. Wednesday, we've got some more Last Call for Adventure, which is our weekly tabletop show. You can check out lastcallforadventure.com for more information on that. And as always, you can find Drop Frames on podcast platforms everywhere, just like you can with MCU Crew, as well as Last Call, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Music, all that stuff. That's it for us. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back next week. Is next week our last? Next week is, I think, our last show of the year. And then the following Sunday after that is Christmas. And then the following Sunday after that is the 1st. I will not be here on Christmas. But we should be doing our Game of the Year show on the 1st. So we'll let you guys know if there's any changes to that. You can follow Drop Frames on Twitter or just follow us, and we'll keep you guys updated in titles and all that stuff. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. We're out of here. Bye-bye.